Chapter 1051. When Xinya had enjoyed a luxurious life that others could never enjoy in their lifetime. Now it was time to reap the rewards. That was the reality. At most, when Xinya's father was cold and heartless, but when Hanlei's only value was marriage. Alas, Ningxu was still struggling. Dad, do I have to marry Tang Yu? Yes, when Xinya's father said firmly. What if I don't marry Tang Yu? Ningxu wanted to know what would happen if he didn't marry Tang Yu. You are the daughter of the one family. You enjoy wealth and glory. If you can't show your value, you are not the daughter of the one family. Everything you enjoy in the one family will be taken back. When Xinya's father said, Ningxu was speechless. What do you mean by taking back everything? Ningxu asked. Everything. When Xinya's father said, your role is to marry Tang Yu and facilitate the cooperation between the two families. Ningxu nodded. I know, Dad. Good. When Xinya's father said lightly, Ningxu returned to Huaxin Market and continued to work. Whether he got married or not was one thing. Now he had to work on his hands. Huaxin Market was almost Ningxu's last hope. If it failed, Ningxu planned to leave the one family. He was afraid that when Xinya's father would casually marry another man, Ningxu and Manager Li settled on an auspicious day to reopen the market. Because Huaxin Market's income was not good, no one from the company came when it reopened. Ningxu was happy and at ease. He felt that this place was his. After a thorough renovation, the whole market had a new look. At least it was not as lifeless as before. When it just opened, Ningxu did a lot of promotional activities to encourage people to spend money. There were a lot of people on the first day of opening, but many people came for free gifts. They came with flyers to exchange for gifts. Ningxu was not in a hurry. Whether the business was good or not could not be reflected in a day. Now at least people came in and saw the promotional products. They would be tempted. It was human nature to take advantage of others. On the other hand, Manager Li was a little nervous. He stood beside Ningxu and looked at the busy employees. Ningxu asked, is it okay? Who can say for sure? What should be done had already been done. What was left was to see the results. Where is the detergent? An old lady Ningxu asked. It's here. Ningxu brought the old lady to see the detergent. After a busy day, he took a look at the turnover. It was not bad. After deducting the capital, the profit was more than the previous month. Today was the day of the grand opening. He just didn't know what would happen after that. Ningxu didn't go home during this time. He stayed in the office of the store to monitor the situation. After opening for business, the business of the store was in a lukewarm state. They relied on some promotional activities to attract customers and maintain a state of not losing money, with a slight profit. Ningxu was more satisfied with this. After all, the money was in other people's pockets. He couldn't rob them. In the future, he would slowly get on the right track. Ningxu hadn't been home for more than 2 months. Occasionally, he would turn on the computer to look at the embarrassing relationship between his adoptive father and adoptive daughter. Now the two of them would occasionally hug and kiss, but they would stop. Perhaps Tang Yu felt that Bai Feifei was too young and her body was too tender. Ningxu took screenshots of the intimate and warm scene between the two of them. According to the plot, she had to get married to Tang Yu again, and it was during that wedding that Tang Yu truly understood his own heart. That wedding was the opportunity to get rid of Tang Yu. Did he really think that she wanted to have a relationship with Tang Yu? Looking at the two of them was annoying. Also, Ningxu was more worried about 2333 and the system space. 2333, are you there? Please reply. Ningxu called out to 2333 in his heart. No reply. Ningxu shouted again. 2333, are you there? Still no reply. Ningxu had a bad feeling in his heart. 2333 couldn't have been sucked away by the black hole, right? From now on, she would become a wild mission enforcer without any organization? No. 2333, 2333 HHHHHHHH. Ningxu screamed for a while, but 2333 didn't respond. He was worried about his system space. The private investigator also informed Ningxu that they had found Bai Feifei's mother. Ningxu drove to the private detective agency and asked, "Where is she?" I wasn't in the country before, but I've returned recently. Where is she now? Ning Shu asked. The private investigator gave Ning Shu an address, and Ning Shu found the hotel, where Bai Feifei's mother was staying. She pressed the doorbell of Bai Feifei's mother's hotel. Ning Shu rang twice before Bai Feifei's mother opened the door. Bai Feifei was only 16 years old, and her mother wasn't that old either. However, she looked older and more tired than Mrs. One. Bai Feifei's mother looked at Ning Shu warily, sizing him up. Ning Shu was dressed in branded and well-tailored clothes, and she looked very alert. Her husband was in the clothing business, and under his influence, he could tell the price range of any clothes at a glance. Who are you? Who are you looking for? Bai Feifei's mother only opened the door a crack. You must be Bai Feifei's mother. I'm here to look for you. I have something to tell you. Ning Shu reached out to push the door, but Bai Feifei's mother blocked the door with all her might. I don't know you. Please leave. I don't mean any harm, Ning Shu said. I advise you not to look for Tang Yu now. Tang Yu might take your life. I don't know you. Bai Feifei's mother's expression changed, and she slammed the door shut. Ning Shu, but seeing that Bai Feifei's mother wasn't going to talk to him alone, Ning Shu could only leave. Ning Shu had no choice but to look for a private investigator and give him some instructions. The private investigator gave Ning Shu some photos of Tang Yu and Bai Feifei. Some of them were at the school entrance, some were at the amusement park, and some were at a Western restaurant. The sweetness of the two almost overflowed from the photos. Ning Shu asked for the negatives of the photos and sent them to his computer. These were all good stuff. Ning Shu paid the money and left with the items. After leaving the detective agency, Ning Shu's phone rang. It was Tang Yu. Ning Shu couldn't help but purse his lips. Usually, Tang Yu wouldn't call him for anything good. Ning Shu coughed and picked up the call. What's the matter? Wen Hanlei, let's get married. Tang Yu said in a low voice. There was no joy in his voice at all. Ning Shu. Degree? Was he crazy? He was toying with her. One moment he wanted to postpone, then slow down. Now he wanted to get married. She was so cheap. He did whatever he wanted, coming and going as he pleased. He never considered her feelings. It was as if marrying her was the greatest gift to her. Chapter 1052. When Tang Yu said they wanted to get married, Ning Shu naturally agreed. His face was ferocious, but his voice was gentle as he said, Okay, let's get married. Tang Yu was silent for a moment before saying, Let's have the wedding first. What do you mean? Let's have the wedding first, then get the marriage certificate. Tang Yu said, At our level, once we have the wedding, it's as good as settled. Fuck. Ning Shu had never seen such a despicable man. Only having the wedding and not getting the marriage certificate. What a hooligan. Ning Shu took a deep breath. Then when are we getting the marriage certificate? We'll talk about it after the wedding, Tang Yu said. Ning Shu said lightly, Tang Yu, don't you think you're going overboard? Without a marriage certificate, what are we? How could he drag someone down and leave them hanging like this? If the wedding was called marriage, why didn't he say that they would get the marriage certificate after giving birth? If you don't accept it, then forget it, Tang Yu said nonchalantly. Ning Shu's face was full of murderous intent, and his voice carried a hint of laughter. Accept? Why wouldn't I accept? Let's see who will play who to death. Okay, then I'll go to your house in 2 days to decide on the date, Tang Yu said in a low voice. Ning Shu squeezed out 2 laughs from his throat. Okay, I'll wait. Tang Yu hung up the phone very cold. How was this someone who was about to get married? Since he was going to get married, he had to give Tang Yu a big gift. This time, if you can run away from the wedding, I'll break your legs. Ning Shu turned on his computer and edited the previous screenshots, including the beautiful and hazy photos of Tang Yu and Bai Feifei. It was quite beautiful. When Tang Yu went to the Wen family to decide on the date, Ning Shu was not at home. Mother Wen urged Ning Shu to hurry back. When Ning Shu returned home, Father Wen was saying something to Tang Yu. Seeing Ning Shu, Tang Yu questioned, Didn't I tell you that I would come over to decide on the date? Oh, I forgot. Ning Shu sat down, picked up the fruit from the fruit plate, and hurried back. He was starving. Just as he was about to take a bite, Mrs. Wen snatched the apple from Ning Shu's hand and glared at Ning Shu. How about we set the wedding date on the 4th of next month? Tang Yu asked Ning Shu. Ning Shu grinned. Whatever you say. Then I'll take it that you agree, Tang Yu said. Mrs. Wen invited Tang Yu to stay for lunch, but Tang Yu declined. As soon as Tang Yu left, Ning Shu hurriedly picked up the apple and started chewing. In the following days, Ning Shu and Tang Yu took their wedding photos. They were busy picking out jewelry, trying on dresses, and all sorts of other things. During the wedding photo shoot, Ning Shu and Tang Yu were both disgusted with each other. Even the slightest bit of intimacy would cause their bodies to stiffen. Once the photo shoot was done, Tang Yu immediately let go of Ning Shu. Ning Shu didn't mind. After all, the two of them weren't on the same page, so it didn't matter. Bai Feifei watched Ning Shu and Tang Yu take their wedding photos with a straight face. Her eyes were red as she stared at Ning Shu's wedding gown. Her gaze could bore a hole through it. Ning Shu sat on a chair and drank water. Bai Feifei walked over. Ning Shu said, "Auntie, you must be very proud. Uncle married you." Ning Shu looked at Bai Feifei indifferently and didn't say a word. So what if you're married to Uncle? You haven't even gotten your marriage certificate. You're not even husband and wife. At most, you're Uncle's lover. Bai Feifei's voice was filled with jealousy and sadness. Ning Shu placed the bottle of water on the coffee table and stood up. He stared at Bai Feifei. "I've said it before. Don't talk nonsense in front of me. Otherwise, I'll beat you up every time I see you." "You," slap. Ning Shu slapped Bai Feifei hard across the face. Bai Feifei had no family background and her family was ruined. It would be strange if Ning Shu tolerated Bai Feifei. Bai Feifei's face was slapped to the side by Ning Shu. She covered her face and didn't recover for a long time. Covering her face, she turned to look at Ning Shu. Her eyes were spitting fire as she stared at Ning Shu. "You hit me again?" Ning Shu slapped Bai Feifei on the other side. "I've said it before. Who do you think you are? You're not fit to talk nonsense in front of me. Who do you think you are? You're just a slut who chases after men." Bai Feifei was still young. After being slapped twice in front of everyone, her pride couldn't take it. She shouted without thinking. "You think Uncle loves you and begs a man to marry you? You think you're so great? My family is broken, but you're so shameless. You're not even as good as me, a person whose family is broken." Ning Shu was expressionless. "Who are you calling a slut who chases after men?" "Slut, I'm talking about you." Ning Shu gave Bai Feifei another slap across her face. "I'm hitting a bitch. When Hanlei, I'll fight it out with you." After being slapped twice again, Bai Feifei couldn't take it anymore. Ning Shu slapped Bai Feifei again. "What are you doing?" Tang Yu, who had just changed his clothes, saw this scene and roared. He pulled Bai Feifei over and pushed Ning Shu away. Ning Shu was wearing a suit and was extremely tall. He almost fell after being pushed by Tang Yu. However, Ning Shu had kung fu on him. He spun around and stood steadily. "Wen Hanlei, look at what you've done. Why did you hit her?" Tang Yu saw the red marks on Bai Feifei's face and turned around. He gritted his teeth and said. Ning Shu clapped his hands. "You're so young. Why did you put on so much powder? You know how to seduce men at such a young age." "Wen Hanlei," Tang Yu roared. "Do you still want to get married? What do you think?" Ning Shu waved his hand impatiently. "Don't bring her along next time. I'm annoyed when I see her. I've said it before. If you talk nonsense in front of me, I'll hit you. I'm not a patient person." "Wen Hanlei, Bai Feifei is my adopted daughter. After we get married, she'll be your adopted daughter. You're treating her like this. I'll reconsider if I should change my wife." Humph, he wanted to force her to submit? "The wedding invitations have been sent out. Tell the relatives of the Wen and Tang families, as well as their business partners and political and business celebrities that the wedding is cancelled," Ning Shu said calmly. "Wen Hanlei, do you really think I can't do anything to you?" Tang Yu said with an ashen face. "Don't be too arrogant." "That's how arrogant I am. If you're not convinced, come hit me." Ning Shu spread his hands. "Come on, come hit me." Tang Yu was so angry that the veins on his forehead were throbbing. He raised his hands suddenly. Ning Shu took a step back. "Think about the consequences of slapping me. Anyway, the wedding photos had already been taken. At most, they could fight together. It didn't matter if their faces were bruised. Tang Yu turned around and looked at Bai Feifei, whose face was red. His heart ached. Bai Feifei raised her head and stared at Tang Yu with her watery eyes. Her watery eyes were filled with grievances and full of trust and reliance. Chapter 1053. Facing Bai Feifei's gaze, Tang Yu's heart felt as if it had been stung by a scorpion. Tang Yu's heart was filled with an indescribable anger. He turned around and looked at Ning Shu coldly. Apologized to Bai Feifei. I'm not apologizing. Who does she think she is? Ning Shu crossed her arms and raised her chin slightly. I hit her because she asked for it. I'm a vicious female supporting character. If I'm not vicious, how can I show off the female lead's pitiful, pure, kind and full of love? Wen Hanlei, I used to think that you were a shallow woman, but I didn't expect you to be so shallow and vicious. Tang Yu was angered by Ning Shu's attitude, making his face look unapproachable. I'm that superficial and vicious. It's only right that I hit her. Ning Shu grinned. She didn't care about her image in Tang Yu's heart at all. Wen Hanlei's weakness was that Tang Yu's method of dealing with Wen Hanlei wouldn't work on her. She didn't love Tang Yu, so Tang Yu couldn't affect her at all. The one who loved first would lose. Tang Yu thought of himself as a gentleman, but he still wanted to beat Ning Shu to death because of her pestering. Wen Hanlei, I'll remember what happened today. Tang Yu pulled Bai Feifei away. Ning Shu waved her hand. Have a safe trip. Ning Shu changed into her gown and left with her bag. Because they were about to get married, Mother Wen asked Ning Shu to stay at home and not go anywhere. She bought some things for Ning Shu as dowry. Ning Shu accepted whatever Mother Wen bought. No one knew how the wedding would turn out. Second sister Wen had a mocking expression on her face all day long, mocking Ning Shu whenever she could. Ning Shu treated it like a dog barking and didn't hear anything. Second sister Wen was the kind that the more you argued with her, the more motivated she became. Don't think that this was really sisterly. When Wen Hanlei was married off to a rich playboy by Father Wen, and was subjected to domestic violence, second sister Wen didn't say much. He had never spoken up to defend his sister, so he really did not have any feelings for her. Instead of bickering with second sister Wen, it would be better to call and ask about the situation at Huaxin Marketplace. Ning Shu turned on the computer and checked the situation of Tang Yu's villa. Bai Feifei, who had been slapped by Ning Shu into a pig's head, hid in her room the moment she got home. She locked the door and hid under her blanket, crying. Tang Yu took the ice cube and opened the door with the key. He sat by the bed and pulled the blanket away. Apply it on your face, or your face will be swollen and ugly tomorrow, Tang Yu said gently. Bai Feifei covered her face with the blanket, her voice muffled under the covers. I won't. Even if my face is ruined, it's none of your business. Get out. I don't want to see you. Tang Yu rubbed his glabella and sat on the bed without making a sound. Bai Feifei, who was under the blankets, heard no movement, and thought that Tang Yu had left. She hurriedly lifted the blankets. Seeing that Tang Yu was still sitting by the bed, she cried out in grievance and hugged Tang Yu. Uncle, why did you marry that woman? Why? I don't want you to marry her. Uncle. Tang Yu saw that Bai Feifei was crying sadly and reached out to pat her back. This is a marriage alliance between the two families. Uncle, but you don't love her. You won't be happy with her. Uncle, what should I do? What should I do? Don't you want me anymore? Bai Feifei cried sadly and hugged Tang Yu tightly. Tang Yu sighed deeply. I'm your guardian. I won't leave you alone. Uncle, I like you. Don't marry that daughter, okay? I like you. I really like you. Bai Feifei cried until she hiccuped, her voice tearing up. You're still young and don't know what it means to like someone. You'll know when you're older, Tang Yu said softly. I'm not young. I know what it means to like someone. Uncle, I like you. I really like you. Bai Feifei raised her chin and blocked Tang Yu's lips with her cherry lips. She said shyly, Uncle, take me. Tang Yu's expression shook. Where did you hear this from? Uncle. Tang Yu pulled Bai Feifei's hands away from his neck and ran away. Ning Shu. Why was it always like this? He thought that something would happen, but nothing happened. Was there something wrong with Tang Yu? But Bai Feifei was also fierce. "Uncle, take me, take me, take me, take me." Ningshu turned off the computer and lay on the bed. He called out to 2333 in his heart. 2333, are you there? What's the situation now? Ningshu called out, but there was no response. 2333, 2333, 2333, 333333. There was still no response. What was going on? Could it be that 2333 had already died? Ningshu was panicking. He didn't know what was going on and was anxious. Fuck, did the two pearls want to go to heaven? Why would something like this happen when they fused? They were probably both extraordinary things that were unwilling to be devoured by each other. They fought just like that and implicated an innocent person like her. She didn't know if 2333 could handle it. 2333 was really useless. When two useless people were together, they could only numb their claws when they encountered problems. On the day of the wedding, Ningshu put on the wedding dress and waited in the bedroom for Tangyu to pick her up. Tangyu arrived late with a straight face. It was impossible to tell that he was getting married. He was so solemn that those who didn't know would think that he was attending a funeral. The one family was afraid that Tangyu would explode and didn't dare to make things difficult for him. Tangyu went to Ningshu's bedroom without any obstruction. Today, Tangyu was wearing a well-tailored suit, looking handsome and confident. Tangyu reached out to Ningshu and Ningshu placed her hand on Tangyu's. The two went downstairs. The whole process was quiet and there was no joy at all. Sitting in the car, Ningshu leaned back and closed her eyes. She didn't sleep well the whole night. Last night, Mrs. Wan accompanied Ningshu and talked for the whole night. Tangyu glanced at Ningshu and saw that Ningshu had actually started to sleep. Suddenly, a surge of anger surged in his heart, mixed with an inexplicable rejection. Tangyu even wanted to go back on his word and not get married. "Wan Hanlei, I hope you know that you are really the daughter-in-law of the Tang family. Don't ask for anything else. Don't think that just because you are my wife, you can interfere with my affairs. Just do what a wife should do," Tangyu said sternly. Ningshu opened her eyes. "Can you keep your voice down? I didn't sleep last night. If you're not sleepy, I'm sleepy. What did I interfere with you? Don't talk to yourself." Tangyu felt that this woman was really too arrogant. Most importantly, he really couldn't do anything to her now. If it was the Wan Hanlei of the past, she would be very sad when he said that. Using feelings to torture people. But now, when Hanlei was a broken jar? How shameless could she be? Chapter 1054. When they arrived at the wedding venue, Tangyu asked the secretary, "Feifei didn't come?" "I didn't see Miss Bai." The secretary shook her head. Tangyu looked around, his brows tightly knitted together in worry. According to the wedding procedure, Ningshu was handed over to Tangyu by Mr. Wan. They then made their vows in front of the priest. They put on the rings. When they kissed, Tangyu only touched Ningshu's face for a brief moment. The MC then started to liven up the atmosphere. Ningshu and Tangyu stood together, both expressionless. The MC couldn't help but wipe his sweat. Tangyu's phone rang twice. Tangyu hurriedly took it out. It was a message from Bai Feifei. Ningshu craned his neck and saw the gist of the message. "Uncle, I wish you happiness. I'm leaving. I won't come back to disturb you again. I'll forget you blah blah blah." Ningshu clicked his tongue. If she wanted to leave, just leave. What was the point of sending a message? She could have just sent a message after she was far away. When Tangyu saw the message, his expression changed. He wanted to rush out to find Bai Feifei. He only wanted to find Bai Feifei now. He didn't care about marriage, or benefits. When he thought of Bai Feifei leaving him, Tangyu felt as if his heart had been dug out. He couldn't tolerate Bai Feifei leaving him. He couldn't. Ningshu grabbed Tangyu's arm and held him tightly. Tangyu wanted to shake off Ningshu, but he couldn't shake off Ningshu. "Let go of me." Tangyu, who had always been calm, had panic and disappointment on his face. Ningshu looked at him. "Where are you going?" "We're getting married. I'm going to find Bai Feifei." Bai Feifei left. Tangyu spoke quickly, looking very anxious. Ningshu said nonchalantly, "She can't leave. You're her only family. Wait until the wedding is over. She can't go far." Bai Feifei wanted to ruin the wedding. How could she leave? She's at the airport now, and will be leaving soon. When Hanlei, let go of me first. I'm going to find Bai Feifei. Tang Yu pulled Ning Shu's hand. Are you going to run away at the wedding? Ning Shu looked at Tang Yu expressionlessly. Tang Yu took a deep breath. I'm sorry. I realized that the person I love is Bai Feifei. When Hanlei, a forced melon is not sweet. I will make it up to you. Tang Yu had been avoiding her all this while. Now that he understood his feelings, he heaved a sigh of relief. But when he thought about how Bai Feifei was going to leave, his heart ached. Compensation? Ning Shu raised his eyebrows. Yes, a forcibly picked melon is not sweet. We won't be happy if we force ourselves to be together like this. A forcibly twisted melon won't be sweet. I don't care if it's sweet or not. I'll be very happy as long as I can twist it off. Ning Shu's face darkened. Stand here and don't move. When Hanlei let go of me. Tang Yu realized that this woman's grip was really strong. As a man, he couldn't do anything to her. Ning Shu grabbed Tang Yu's wrist with one hand and held Tang Yu's waist with the other, restraining Tang Yu. Ning Shu gave the MC a look. The MC immediately said, Now let's see the beautiful process of the bride and groom getting to know each other and loving each other. The screen behind them lit up and beautiful photos were displayed one after another. There was also a dubbing. No, uncle, I want to sleep with you. I'm afraid of thunder. Uncle, I'll kiss you. What did I do? Uncle, I didn't do anything. You said I'll kiss you. That's etiquette. Don't foreigners also kiss to show intimacy? These words were accompanied by images of kissing. Uncle, why did you marry that woman? Why? I don't want you to marry her. Uncle, Uncle, I like you. Don't marry that daughter, okay? I like you. I really like you. I'm not young anymore. I know what it means to like. Uncle, I like you. I really like you. Uncle, take me. You're still young. I'm not young anymore. I've already grown up. All kinds of beautiful images were accompanied by Bai Feifei's touching confession. Perhaps there was something wrong with the projector or something else, but that sentence, Uncle, take me, kept repeating endlessly. The entire wedding venue was filled with the words, Take me, take me. The wedding venue was in an uproar. Some people even knelt down in laughter. Tang Yu looked as if he had been struck by lightning. He stared blankly at the huge screen. The screen was filled with images of him and Bai Feifei being intimate. Tang Yu's mind was numb. He couldn't figure out where these photos came from. Almost instantly, Tang Yu reacted. He shouted at the MC. Why aren't you turning it off? Turn it off quickly. The MC's head was covered in cold sweat. This wedding wouldn't be ruined, right? The MC was flustered, but he couldn't turn off the projector. And that sentence, Uncle, take me, was transmitted through the speakers to every corner of the venue. It kept repeating, and repeating. How could there be no reporters at such a big event like Tang Yu's wedding? These reporters took photos crazily. They held recording pens and recorded the sentence, Uncle, take me. Ning Shu looked at these beautiful images and was very satisfied. It wasn't a waste of his time editing. This standard was comparable to a professional editor. Turn it off quickly. Turn it off. Tang Yu shouted at the MC. His face was ashen. His body was trembling from agitation. The MC turned off the projector in a flurry. But the people present still felt that the words, Uncle, take me. This feeling of lust. Tang Yu's parents hurriedly called security to chase these reporters out. But with such big news, these reporters couldn't bear to leave. They desperately squeezed in. The scene was extremely chaotic. Tang Yu's mind was buzzing. His whole body was weak. Wah! Ning Shu let out a loud roar. She didn't care about anything else, and slapped Tang Yu countless times in the face. Tang Yu, how could you do this to me? You're going to marry me, and you're still messing around with your adopted daughter. You're simply a beast. You don't even let off a minor. Wah! Ning Shu howled. She punched and kicked Tang Yu. Tang Yu, you're not human. You're not human. Give me back my hard-earned money. Enough. Tang Yu pushed Ning Shu away. Being hit by this woman was like being hit on the head with a brick. Tang Yu's head was buzzing from the pain. Ning Shu howled even louder. Today is our wedding. You're using this kind of thing to insult me. You're simply shameless. I've waited for you for so many years. But you did this to your adopted daughter. You're shameless. You're not human. Ning Shu's voice was full of energy. It was deafening. The whole scene was filled with the sound of Ning Shu's wailing. Tang Yu's head was extremely dizzy. It was so painful that it felt like it was going to explode. It felt like he was going to faint. Chapter 1055. Tang Yu looked at the strange gazes of the people around him. They were pointing at him, and his ears were filled with Ning Shu's roars. His back was drenched in sweat, and it was quite uncomfortable to be stuck to it. Tang Yu's body staggered for a moment before he steadied himself. As the CEO of a company, he still had the ability to face a crisis. Tang Yu didn't know where these photos came from. He snatched the microphone from the MC's hand and said loudly, "These photos are all photoshopped. They are fake. I will pursue the culprit who maliciously ruined my reputation according to the law." Ning Shu screamed and pounced on Tang Yu. He grabbed Tang Yu's face, and 5 bright red lines appeared on Tang Yu's face. "Give me the keys. I want to see that Bai Feifei. How could she say such shameless things? I've always treated her as my biological daughter. I didn't expect her to seduce her own foster father behind my back. She's so young, so bad." Ning Shu touched Tang Yu's pocket. He took out a bunch of keys. When Han Lei stopped fooling around. Tang Yu's eyes were red as he growled at Ning Shu. He felt that this woman was not sensible at all. She didn't even look at the situation. "Tang Yu, you did such a thing behind my back with your foster daughter. You've always been lying to me. If it was any other time, I could pretend that I didn't know. But this is our wedding, and you actually released such a thing to humiliate me." When Han Lei stopped talking nonsense, Tang Yu's head was about to explode. Ning Shu covered his face and wailed. The scene was very lively. Many people took out their phones to record. I can confirm that some malicious people deliberately did this. After this incident, I will pursue the culprit's responsibility according to the law, Tang Yu said in a deep voice, his face incomparably calm. His face was calm, and there was no trace of panic. It looked as if he had been wronged and someone was deliberately taking revenge. Tang Yu calmed the reporters, but a person suddenly rushed up the stage and snatched the microphone from Tang Yu's hand. Everyone looked at this woman in a daze. This woman's face was pale and angry. She looked at Tang Yu with deep hatred. "Tang Yu, you forced my husband to his death, and now you're lying to my daughter. Why don't you go to hell?" Bai Feifei's mother screamed at Tang Yu. When Tang Yu saw Bai Feifei's mother, his pupils shrank and his face paled. He calmly said, "I don't know what you're talking about. You coveted my husband's clothing brand and drove him to his death. Then you adopted my daughter and coaxed her. My daughter was still young and was lured by you to do such a thing." The surrounding reporters were so excited that it was as if they had been injected with chicken blood. It was really one place after another, and all of them were headlines. "My husband refused to sell the company. Your godly design drove my husband to his death. You won't be able to get the brand without any effort. You'll go to hell. I'll fight it out with you." Bai Feifei's mother rushed towards Tang Yu with red eyes. Ning Shu stood in front of Bai Feifei's mother. "You're not allowed to hurt Tang Yu." He discreetly hooked Bai Feifei's mother's leg with his foot, causing Bai Feifei's mother to pounce on Tang Yu instead. Tang Yu was pushed to the ground by Bai Feifei's mother, and his head hit the ground heavily. Tang Yu had been beaten up by Ning Shu previously. Now that Bai Feifei's mother had pounced on him, his head hit the ground and his eyes rolled back. He fainted. "Quick, call the ambulance." "Tang Yu," Ning Shu shouted into Tang Yu's ear. Tang Yu did not wake up. It seemed like he was really unconscious. The ambulance arrived quickly. Ning Shu cried out and ran away. "Wah, I can't accept this." After leaving the wedding venue, Ning Shu hailed a taxi and headed to Tang Yu's villa. Ning Shu used the key to open the door. Ning Shu removed all the cameras that he had placed earlier. Although Tang Yu swore in front of the reporters and political and business elites that he was innocent, he knew in his heart that these photos were real. Before anyone could react, he destroyed the cameras. Ning Shu threw the miniature cameras into the toilet bowl and flushed them away. Ning Shu opened the door and saw that the entrance was filled with reporters. Fuck, these reporters had arrived quickly. They should have gone to the hospital to wait for Tang Yu to wake up. Miss Wen, did you not know about the matter between Tang Yu and his adopted daughter? Ning Shu cried out. I don't want to answer now. Get out of the way. Mr. Wen, is Tang Yu's adopted daughter inside? Ning Shu looked confused. I don't know. I don't know where she went. Don't ask. I don't know anything. Ning Shu pushed the reporters aside and ran away holding the hem of his wedding dress. Ning Shu took off the white veil on his head and threw it away. It was troublesome to wear it on his head. When he returned to the Wen family, several pairs of eyes stared at him the moment he entered the door. Everyone in the Wen family was staring at him. Ning Shu sniffled, her face full of confusion and bitterness. Elder sister. When Ermiai shouted at Ning Shu, gloating over her misfortune. Ning Shu stared at Wen Ermiai with eyes full of emptiness and despair. Think about the consequences before you say anything. I'm so irritated now. When Ermiai's sarcastic words were stuck in her throat when Ning Shu stared at her. She couldn't swallow her words and her face turned ugly. A good wedding has turned into this. Father Wen's face was livid. Ning Shu was expressionless. Hubby, fourth sister is so sad. Don't say any more. What is Tang Yu doing? Father Wen couldn't help but want to roll his eyes. However, the Tang family was at the center of the storm, and the Wen family was also a victim. Otherwise, Father Wen would be furious. Go upstairs and rest. Ning Shu waved his hand. Ning Shu's voice was a little hoarse. Thank you, Father. Then he went upstairs. After closing the door, Ning Shu couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. His throat was sore after howling for so long. Ning Shu took off the wedding dress and took a comfortable bath. Oh my, it's so cool. After the bath, Ning Shu took out some snacks from the cabinet. Due to the emergency, he didn't even have time to exchange for the fasting pills. Those who had been betrayed would always be sad for a period of time. They would be half dead. Ning Shu sat cross-legged on the bed to cultivate. When it was time for dinner, Mother Wen knocked on the door and asked Ning Shu to eat. Ning Shu's voice was hoarse and weak. I have no appetite. You can eat. I'll be fine after a while. Don't ruin your body. Without Tang Yu, there are other good men. Mother Wen said. Ning Shu opened the door a little, revealing a pair of dark eyes. Father, do you want me to marry another man? You don't want me to marry Tang Yu? Ning Shu asked. Looking at your father's attitude, I guess he won't let you marry Tang Yu again. Tang Yu has been evading your father before. Mother Wen said. Chapter 1056. You'd better come out and eat. It's not worth it to hurt your body. Mrs. Wen reached out to pull Ning Shu out. Ning Shu closed the door and said, Let me be alone for a while. Ning Shu sat on the bed and took out his computer to check the stock market. The Tang family shares had fallen, and with such a scandal, the shares would continue to fall. Mr. Wen did not want her to marry Tang Yu not because he felt sorry for her, but because the Tang family was no longer worth cooperating with. If the Tang family wanted to survive this scandal, they would definitely suffer some losses. Now was not the best time to cooperate with the Tang family. Ning Shu browsed the web again. Some blurry cell phone videos had already spread online. Ning Shu clicked on the video and saw his image. He couldn't help but cover his eyes. The words "Uncle, take me" were even more erotic. Basically, every video had this sentence. These videos became more and more popular and soon, they became popular. There were all kinds of comments. Some said that Tang Yu and Bai Feifei were thieves and prostitutes, while others sympathized with Ning Shu. There were also people who said that Ning Shu was a shrew. Ning Shu turned a blind eye to such messages. The next morning, Ning Shu looked haggard and read the newspapers first. The entertainment headlines were indeed about this matter. He prepared to go to the hospital to see how Tang Yu was doing. The entrance of the hospital was surrounded by reporters. When they saw Ning Shu, they surrounded Ning Shu. Miss Wen, are you here to see Tang Yu? May I know where Miss Bai is now? Do you know where she went? May I know if you and Tang Yu will continue to be together? Ning Shu threw questions at them one by one. Ning Shu looked haggard. Please disperse. This is a private matter between the Tang family and the Wen family. When I found out about this at the wedding, I was very emotional. After a night, I've thought it through. Nothing forcibly done will be sweet. If Bai Feifei and Tang Yu truly love each other, I'll give them my blessings. Ning Shu's face looked even more haggard. Previously, I couldn't figure out why Tang Yu held his wedding first and didn't register his marriage with me. It's because he has Bai Feifei in his heart. Ning Shu's voice was hoarse. Let's just forget about this matter. Please don't report it anymore. Is it true that Tang Yu forced Bai Feifei's father to his death? The reporter asked again. I don't know. I don't know the situation in Tang Yu's company. I don't believe that Tang Yu would do such a thing. If he killed Bai Feifei's father, why would he adopt Bai Feifei? Ning Shu defended Tang Yu. Ning Shu pushed the reporters aside and entered the hospital. Tang Yu had already woken up. There was a bandage on his head and his face was pale. Tang Yu was watching the TV. The TV was broadcasting about the wedding. What are you doing here? Tang Yu saw that it was Ning Shu who opened the door and looked away. Ning Shu walked to the bedside. Tang Yu's face was very pale. There were even scratches from Ning Shu on his face. They were even more obvious after one night. It was a pity that such a handsome face had been ruined. Are you feeling better? Ning Shu asked. What did you mean by those words you said to those reporters? Tang Yu looked at Ning Shu with a deep and dangerous gaze. Although Ning Shu had spoken up for Tang Yu, he had confirmed Tang Yu's relationship with Bai Feifei. Nothing. Didn't you say that you can't force a melon to be sweet? Now that I've thought it through, you're blaming me for letting the two of you be together. Tang Yu, do you want me to do this? Ning Shu's expression was rather helpless. Tang Yu closed his eyes tiredly. When he opened them, Ning Shu said, I don't know where Bai Feifei is now. There are reporters everywhere now. Can you help me find out where Bai Feifei is? Ning Shu was speechless. I can forgive you for being a thief and a prostitute, but it doesn't mean that I can do anything for you without any grudges. Tang Yu, there's nothing between us anymore. Ning Shu turned and left. After leaving the ward, Ning Shu met Tang Yu's mother, who was carrying a thermos. Tang Yu's mother saw Ning Shu and gave him a fake smile. You're here to see Tang Yu. Ning Shu grunted and left. However, Ning Shu was also curious about where Bai Feifei had gone. When Tang Yu had left at the wedding, he had rushed to the airport like a rocket and domineeringly brought Bai Feifei back. However, this time Bai Feifei had sent a message. Tang Yu had not been able to look for Bai Feifei for various reasons. He wondered if Bai Feifei had really left the country. He felt that it was not very likely that Bai Feifei had left the country. Bai Feifei had gone overseas alone. She did not know anyone, there was a language barrier, and she was so young. Bai Feifei did not have the guts to leave the country. Bai Feifei was very dependent on Tang Yu. How could she bear to leave the person she liked and loved? Ning Shu thought for a while and drove to Tang Yu's villa. He rolled down the car window and saw that Bai Feifei had indeed returned with her tail between her legs. At this moment, Bai Feifei was surrounded by reporters. She was at a loss and her expression was full of fear. Especially those reporters' questions, which made Bai Feifei tremble with fear. Bai Feifei, do you like your adoptive father? Do you know that Tang Yu forced your father to his death? In the face of the enemy who killed your father, you still let Tang Yu have you. Are you so open-minded at such a young age? Your mother was detained for intentional harm. Instead of going to see your mother, you even returned to Tang Yu's villa. The bombardment of questions almost made Bai Feifei faint. Her mind was a blur. Her father was killed by uncle, but her mother was back? What was going on? Bai Feifei hugged her head. I don't know. I don't know anything. Who could save her? Uncle, where was uncle? She waited and waited at the airport, but uncle did not appear. She waited at the airport for an entire night. She wanted to come back and take one last look at uncle. Uncle must be in love with his wife. So she came back to take one last look at uncle. If uncle really did not like her and did not love her, she would leave. But the moment she returned to the villa, she was surrounded by a group of people. Microphones were poking at her mouth, as if they wanted to stuff the microphones into her mouth. The questions they asked scared Bai Feifei out of her wits. How did things change so drastically in just one night? Bai Feifei looked around, trying to find Tang Yu's figure. In Bai Feifei's heart, Tang Yu was her salvation. Every time something happened, Tang Yu would be able to solve it for her perfectly. When her father passed away and she was threatened by her relatives, it was uncle who saved her. It was still the same now. Bai Feifei saw Ning Shu in the car parked not too far away. She immediately looked at Ning Shu for help. Ning Shu's expression was indifferent. He ignored Bai Feifei's pitiful look, rolled up the car window and drove off. Bai Feifei's eyes dimmed. She could not tolerate the reporter's sharp questions. Shame and fear filled her heart. Her eyes rolled back and she fainted. Now that Bai Feifei had fainted, the reporters could not ask any more questions. They called the ambulance. These reporters were also bad. They purposely chose the hospital Tang Yu was in. Chapter 1057. Ning Shu drove to the private detective agency to settle the bill. As for Bai Feifei's mother's appearance at the wedding, it was Ning Shu who had asked the private detective to find a way to get her there. He believed that Bai Feifei's mother would be more than happy to expose Tang Yu's true colors in front of all the political and business elites. However, she did not expect such a thing to happen at the wedding. Her daughter had fallen in love with Tang Yu and was about to give herself to Tang Yu before she was even an adult. It was no wonder that Bai Feifei's mother was so agitated. Now Bai Feifei's mother was detained for intentional harm. As for the outcome, it would depend on Tang Yu. If Tang Yu wanted to pursue the matter, Bai Feifei's mother would suffer. He wondered how Bai Feifei would feel when she found out. Her father had been killed by her uncle, and now her mother was detained. Would she beg Tang Yu to let her mother off? After leaving the private detective agency, Ning Shu went home. He packed 2 sets of clothes and prepared to stay at Huaxin Marketplace. Where are you going? Mrs. Wen saw the bag in Ning Shu's hand. Ning Shu said, I'm going to relax. I'm going to work at Huaxin Marketplace. I want to work hard to forget my pain. Mrs. Wen sighed. Even without Tang Yu, there are still other young talents. Don't be so stubborn. Give me some time. Ning Shu stared at Mrs. Wen like a panda. Go and get rid of your dark circles. A woman must always maintain her beauty. Mrs. Wen said, Go. Thank you, Mom. I'm leaving. Ning Shu carried his bag and left the villa. He got into the car and drove to Huaxin. Business at Huaxin Marketplace was doing well. There were many children playing in the playground, and adults watching from the side. It was much better than the lifeless atmosphere from before. Ning Shu placed his bag in the lounge beside his office. He then sat on the bed and turned on his computer to check the Tang family's stock market. The Tang family's stock price had dropped a lot today. Because of the scandal surrounding the company's head, many shareholders had sold their shares. This caused the Tang family's stock price to drop a lot. The funds had evaporated. Ning Shu only smiled. Let's see how their love can move the heavens, earth, and each other. Even if the two of them ended up together in the end, they would still face the strange gazes of the public. Normal people would not be touched by Bai Feifei's decision to abandon everything to be with Tang Yu. They would only think that this woman was despicable. How big of a heart did she have to be with the enemy who killed her father? Together without any reservations. The two of them had to live together for the rest of their lives. It was hard to guarantee that there would be times when they would quarrel, regret, and resent each other. These were the thorns in their hearts. It was impossible for a person not to grow. There was no time for them to mature. A person's growth was to constantly recognize and deny their former stupidity. Tang Yu was mentally mature and had his reservations. Therefore, in this relationship he had always been in a passive position. He did not accept Bai Feifei easily, because he had considered what might happen in the future. But in the face of the youthful and passionate Bai Feifei, Tang Yu's mental defenses crumbled. Ning Shu smiled faintly. In any case, these two people's reputations had been tarnished. What she needed to worry about now was the matter of the market. Managing the market well was more important than anything else. She would be able to gain a foothold in the Wen family. It would be best if she could grow with minimal effort. The price to pay for leaving the Wen family was too high. She would be branded with the Wen family for the rest of her life. Leaving the Wen family for no reason would be untenable. Ning Shu browsed the web and realized that the video of the wedding was gradually decreasing. Some had already been deleted. It was obvious that the Tang family had taken action. Even so, the Tang family's shares were still falling. Ning Shu turned off her computer and went to the market to patrol. Now that Tang Yu and Bai Feifei could not even take care of themselves, they did not have the time to find trouble with her. Ning Shu was leisurely here, but Tang Yu's situation was not so good. He was working with bandages wrapped around his head. There were some senior executives of the company beside the bed. They were having a meeting around the bed. Tang Yu's secretary walked in and whispered in Tang Yu's ear that Bai Feifei had been admitted to the hospital. Tang Yu wanted to see Bai Feifei immediately, but the senior executives of the company were all here. Moreover, with such a big incident happening in the company, he could not abandon his work. There were still so many employees looking for Bai Feifei. Tang Yu finished his work at the fastest speed and went to Bai Feifei's ward. There were many reporters at the door of Bai Feifei's ward. Tang Yu was walking right into a trap. Tang Yu's ward in the hospital was confidential. The reporters could not find Tang Yu at all. They only knew that Tang Yu was in this hospital. Now that the reporters saw Tang Yu, their eyes turned green. The reporters swarmed Tang Yu and asked him all kinds of sharp questions. Abducting a minor, forcing Bai Feifei's father to his death. Would Bai Feifei's mother be held accountable according to the law? Tang Yu heard these questions. He could not answer them, but it was also not good not to answer them. Now was a time of trouble. Before the matter was resolved, Tang Yu would not say anything that he could not guarantee. The veins on Tang Yu's forehead popped. He did not see Bai Feifei and was instead blocked by the reporters. With the help of his secretary, Tang Yu returned to the ward. Tang Yu rubbed his forehead with a headache. He had a slight concussion. With so many things happening, Tang Yu felt like his head was about to explode. The intensity of this matter was beyond Tang Yu's expectations. Originally, this was a problem between him and Bai Feifei, but it was also a matter between the two of them. But now, too many people were involved. The reporters digging for gossip about the wealthy, the Tang family's company, the Wen family, Bai Feifei's father who was already dead, Bai Feifei's mother who was detained, and Bai Feifei and him who were at the center of the whirlpool of public opinion. There were also the political and business celebrities who were present at the wedding. It was a fatal blow to his reputation, and it also affected his image and decision-making ability in the company. Tang Yu's head was hurting. He did not know how Bai Feifei would treat him in the future. Tang Yu narrowed his eyes. A fierce look flashed across his eyes, and he immediately gave up on this idea. If Bai Feifei's mother died at this time, it would only make things harder to clean up. Most importantly, he could not let Bai Feifei see her mother. Tang Yu waved at his secretary. Go and check on Miss Bai. Don't let her out of the ward. Also, get the hospital to chase those reporters out. This is a hospital, not a newspaper. Got it. Bai Feifei woke up and wanted to see her mother. She wanted to know the truth and what was going on. Bai Feifei opened the door and saw two security guards guarding the door. They stopped her. Bai Feifei immediately asked, "What are you doing?" Mr. Tang said that your health is not good, and you need to recuperate in the hospital. You can't leave the ward, the security guard said professionally. Chapter 1058. Bai Feifei looked at the two security guards who were blocking her way. They were tall and strong and were clearly not people she could deal with. What does this mean? I can only stay in the house. Bai Feifei was shocked. She had a bad feeling. Uncle wanted to put her under house arrest? Yes, you can only stay in the house. A nurse will bring you food and take care of your body. Mr. Tang said that you will be released when you are better, the security guard said. Bai Feifei was a smart girl. Although the security guard was being tactful, this was still house arrest. Bai Feifei could not accept it immediately. Uncle would never do this to her. Bai Feifei's heart wavered. She felt that what the reporters said might be true. Uncle had really caused her father's death. My body is fine. Let me out. I'll just go out for a while. Uncle won't know. Bai Feifei begged the security guard. No, Mr. Tang has instructed us to take good care of Miss Bai. Besides, Mr. Tang is doing this for your own good. There are reporters everywhere outside. Mr. Tang is worried that you will be surrounded by them, the security guard said. Seeing that the security guard was determined not to let her leave, Bai Feifei gave up talking to him. There was still a cloud of doubt in her heart. She felt that she had to get to the bottom of this matter. Otherwise, she would not know how to face her uncle. She did not believe that her uncle would cause her father's death. If he had really caused her father's death, he would not have treated her so well, protecting her and doting on her. Bai Feifei's heart was conflicted. Tears streamed down her face. She took out her phone and switched it on. She saw many messages and calls. They were from many of her classmates. They were either asking questions or mocking Bai Feifei, saying that Bai Feifei was shameless to be able to say, "Uncle, take me." Such shameless words. There were even posts on the school forum saying that Bai Feifei was not a goddess at all. She had sold herself to Tang Yu to live a wealthy life. There were all kinds of nasty words. Bai Feifei was so angry that her lungs were about to explode. Many of them were people who used to be good friends with her. They used to have a crush on her, but now they were so heartless. Bai Feifei was so angry that she cried. What was going on? She had said those words to her uncle before, but how did it get to the point where everyone knew about it? Bai Feifei finally found a video of the wedding on the internet. Bai Feifei watched the video and her face turned paler. This, Bai Feifei curled up and covered her face with the blanket, sobbing softly. The private words she had said to her uncle were just to tease him. Now that it had been exposed, there was also the words her mother had said at the wedding. Bai Feifei only felt that her heart was being squeezed tightly by a large hand, and she could not breathe at all. Bai Feifei took a deep breath. No matter what, he had to meet his mother. She had to know the truth. She did not believe that her uncle was such a cruel person. He would really kill her father. When the nurse came to deliver the food, Bai Feifei convinced the nurse to change clothes with her before running out of the hospital. With the nurse's uniform as a cover, Bai Feifei was not surrounded by reporters. When they reached the police station, Bai Feifei hesitated again. She was already at the door, but she did not have the courage to step in. Bai Feifei took a deep breath and went to see her mother. Bai Feifei's mother had aged a lot. When she saw Bai Feifei, she asked agitatedly, "Feifei, are you all right? Did Tang Yu take advantage of you? How could you do such a thing?" "No. I want to ask you, was Dad really killed by Uncle?" Bai Feifei looked at her mother and held her breath, waiting for the answer. "Uncle?" Bai Feifei's mother's face was a little savage. "He killed your father, and you actually called him uncle? Do you know how tragic your father's death was? He jumped from so many high buildings. Tang Yu wanted to buy our family's company. This company was run by your father from nothing until now. How could he sell it? Not long after, your father received a case. This case was very profitable, but it required a lot of investment in the early stages. You should know what happened after that." Bai Feifei's mother stared at Bai Feifei, her eyes bloodshot. "Mom." Bai Feifei started crying. "When Dad died, I was all alone. I was so scared. It was Uncle who took care of me. Mom, where did you go?" Bai Feifei's mother wiped her tears. "He only gave you some benefits and you were biased towards him. Your father jumped from the building. Do you know why he wanted to adopt you? It was because he wanted to take over the brand." Bai Feifei's expression was blank, her eyes empty. She seemed to have lost her soul, and her heart seemed to have been torn into two. The uncle she loved had killed her father. Now her mother was in prison. She did not know what would happen in the future. "Mom, if only you were here. None of this would have happened," Bai Feifei mumbled. However, she was at a loss. She had no one to rely on. It was her uncle who reached out and protected her, giving her support. But now that she was told such a cruel thing, Bai Feifei would rather be a fool and not know anything. The truth was often cruel. "I wasn't here. Feifei, do you think I abandoned you?" Bai Feifei's mother was mentally and physically exhausted. "Back then, I saw my husband jump from the building. His blood flowed all over the ground, but I hardened my heart and did not look. I took the funds that your father exchanged for with his life and left for you and me overseas, so that we could have money to live on. But I didn't expect such a thing to happen in such a short period of time. The brand that your father had painstakingly built was gone just like that. I originally planned to come back and sell this brand to someone else, so that Tang Yu wouldn't get his hands on it. But I didn't expect. Bai Feifei's mother clenched her fists and hammered her chest. Your father's soul won't be able to rest in peace if he finds out in the afterlife. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I really didn't know. Bai Feifei apologized with a wooden face, tears streaming down her face. I won't let Tang Yu off. Even if I die, I won't let him off. He caused my husband's death, and even made you do such a thing. He lied to you. Bai Feifei's mother gritted her teeth, full of hatred. Bai Feifei hurriedly said, Mom, Uncle isn't that bad. He didn't lie to me. It's my fault. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have fallen for Uncle. Mom, it's better to squash enmity than keep it alive. Let's leave this place. Please, I beg you. Bai Feifei's mother was livid at her daughter's words. She shook her head and said resolutely, Your father died right in front of my eyes. With a thud, he fell onto the hard floor and lost his life. He died just like that. Chapter 1059. Bai Feifei, that is my beloved husband, and also your father. You told me not to seek revenge. Shouldn't he pay the price? Mommy. Bai Feifei sobbed. Uncle was someone she loved too. Bai Feifei was in extreme pain. Her heart had been torn into two. On one side was her family, and on the other was her uncle. Bai Feifei clutched her chest in pain. Bai Feifei returned to the hospital in a daze. She opened the door to the ward and saw Tang Yu sitting on her bed. When she saw Tang Yu, Bai Feifei really wanted to throw herself into Tang Yu's embrace. Every time she encountered something difficult to resolve, something sad, Tang Yu would always be able to resolve it for her. Tang Yu's embrace was filled with a sense of security. But at the thought of her own parents, Bai Feifei stared at Tang Yu with a strange gaze. Tang Yu stood up and walked towards Bai Feifei. Bai Feifei immediately retreated and screamed, Back off! Don't come over! Tang Yu's face darkened as he stopped in his tracks. Bai Feifei, leave! I don't want to see you! I don't want to see you! Bai Feifei cried and shouted. Why did you have to kill my father? Why? Do you have to kill my father just to get his brand? I hate you. Tang Yu's face was ashen. He knew this would be the outcome. Tang Yu took 2 steps towards Bai Feifei. Bai Feifei immediately screamed. You're not allowed to come over. Don't come over. Tang Yu saw that Bai Feifei was avoiding her like she was a snake, and her expression turned dangerous. Who did you hear this nonsense from again? Bai Feifei didn't say anything. She didn't even look at Tang Yu. Tang Yu walked out of the ward with a sullen face and said coldly to the security guard, If there's a next time, get lost. You can't even look after a person. She's not allowed to take half a step out of this room. Tang Yu was planning to put Bai Feifei under house arrest, but Bai Feifei didn't mind. Every day, she would sit on the bed, hugging her legs, feeling all sorts of sadness and heartbreak. She looked like she had lost everything. She didn't eat every day, and it was Tang Yu who forced food into her mouth. However, Bai Feifei was determined to torture herself. She refused to eat it. She would rather die than eat it. He looked haggard from hunger. Tang Yu could only threaten Bai Feifei that if she still refused to eat, he would hold Bai Feifei's mother accountable and send her to jail. Bai Feifei's heart was filled with hatred and pain, but she was afraid that Tang Yu would really deal with her mother. She had no choice but to beg Tang Yu to let her mother go. Tang Yu only said that as long as she was obedient, everything could be discussed. In any case, the two of them had already started their torturing mode. After the two of them were discharged from the hospital, Tang Yu still kept Bai Feifei under house arrest in the villa. Bai Feifei made herself seem like the most miserable person in the world every day, torturing herself and torturing Tang Yu's heart, using emotional abuse. During one of their conflicts, Bai Feifei said that she regretted liking Tang Yu and wanted to take back her heart. Tang Yu was furious. Now that Tang Yu had fallen in love with Bai Feifei, how could he tolerate Bai Feifei saying that she didn't love him anymore? In a fit of anger, he raped Bai Feifei. Bai Feifei, who had her chastity taken away by force, had nothing left to live for. In the past, she had always been an uncle. Take me. Now that I've taken her, I feel so sad and hopeless. Then, the two of them started the drama of forcefully pushing each other at the slightest provocation. They would fire at the slightest disagreement. Tang Yu then went to school to withdraw Bai Feifei from school. Ning Shu found out about Tang Yu and Bai Feifei's dog fart affair from the private investigator. Such hysterical love, such painful love, was only called love. Was it not painful, itchy, or crazy love? It was so tiring to watch. Anyway, it would take a while. If Bai Feifei did not suffer for a while, how could she express her kindness? No one wanted to hurt her feelings. If she did not suffer for a period of time, she would not be a kind person if she was so heartlessly together. Anyway, it would be fine after a period of time. They would live happily together. Ning Shu could not figure it out. Why couldn't they be more firm in their stance? Their stance. Ning Shu threw Tang Yu and Bai Feifei's matter to the back of his mind and busied himself with the sales. Now that the sales were not in debt and could make profits, Father Wen even specially came over to inspect. When Ermiai looked at Ning Shu's sales with a disapproving look, mocking Ning Shu that he was lucky, Ning Shu told Wen Ermiai to speak less. Her words were smelly. The sales were profitable and Father Wen did not plan to withdraw. Originally, they were losing money. Now that they had some profits, no matter how small a mosquito's leg was, it was still meat. He let Ning Shu manage it first. After Father Wen left, Ning Shu gave some bonuses to the employees of the sales, and told them that the sales would not be closed for the time being. The happiest person was Manager Li. The sales would not be closed. He was the head here. With profits, he would not be mocked by other sales managers. The sales were losing money every year. As the sales manager, he was ashamed. Now he was full of enthusiasm. Other than looking after the sales every day, Ning Shu also paid attention to the Tang family's situation. Especially the Tang family's situation in the stock market. The Tang family's company fell and the price had not recovered. The shareholders dumped the Tang family's shares. Tang Yu bought these scattered shares to stabilize the stock price. However, Tang Yu's image was tainted. It made the shareholders and the Tang family's business partners worried. In order to save his image, Tang Yu made a difficult decision. That was to marry Ning Shu. Now that the Tang family was in a precarious situation, Tang Yu thought about it. Only by marrying Ning Shu could he dispel the rumors of him having an affair with his adopted daughter. Tang Yu was unwilling to marry Ning Shu, but he had no choice now. The Tang family was in desperate need of a business partner. Tang Yu hid the fact that he was getting married from Bai Feifei. However, Bai Feifei still found out from the servants who took care of her that Tang Yu was going to marry Ning Shu. Now another knife was stabbed into her heart. Bai Feifei begged Tang Yu, "Since you're going to get married, let me go. Let me go, okay?" Tang Yu pressed on Bai Feifei's body and rejected her coldly. "Your life is mine. If you die, you're my ghost. I will never let you go." Bai Feifei was in pain. Her uncle was not like this in the past. Tang Yu held a press conference and said that those photos were photoshopped. Someone was deliberately taking revenge. His relationship with his adopted daughter was also pure. Those were rumors. The person he loved was Wen Hanlei. Soon he would marry Wen Hanlei. Wen Hanlei was the person he loved. He would give Wen Hanlei a grand and romantic wedding ceremony. Bai Feifei watched the press conference on the television at home. Her tears fell. Ning Shu was speechless. Fuck. Could Tang Yu be any more shameless? When was she going to marry him? Tang Yu was too arrogant. He did not even greet her and thought that she would definitely marry him. He really ordered people to come and go as he pleased. He kept Bai Feifei in captivity every day. When he encountered trouble, he would use her as a shield. Chapter 1060. Ning Shu couldn't help but look at himself in the mirror to see if he looked like a sucker. Sure enough, he was cannon fodder. Whenever something happened, he would be pushed to the front. You want to get married just because you want to. Tang Yu held a press conference and said that he loved Wen Hanlei and wanted to hold the wedding of the century. Ning Shu then made a statement. She said that she wouldn't marry Tang Yu and gave Tang Yu and Bai Feifei her blessings. She hoped that Tang Yu and Bai Feifei could be happy. She was going to let go and find her own happiness. In the end, Ning Shu gave Tang Yu and Bai Feifei her blessings again. You must be happy. Ning Shu felt that as an ex, she was pretty good. She broke up peacefully and gave them her blessings. Tang Yu was speechless when he saw the statement. He tried his best to deny that he had an improper relationship with Bai Feifei, But when Hanlei still gave him her blessings. Blessings my ass. The veins on Tang Yu's forehead were throbbing. He rubbed his eyebrows and called Ning Shu. When Hanlei, what do you mean by this? Tang Yu questioned. What's in it for me to marry you? Why should I marry you? If I marry you, I'll be alone while you and Bai Feifei have fun. My brain must be flooded with water. Ning Shu rolled her eyes and said. Besides, I'm not your wife. I don't even have the most basic rights and protection. Are you stupid or am I stupid? Tang Yu gritted his teeth. Let's get married first. So what if we get married? Anyway, you and Bai Feifei have fun while I'll be alone. So what if we have a marriage certificate? Ning Shu said indifferently. When Hanlei, what do you want? What do you want to marry me? Tang Yu gritted his teeth and said sinisterly. We can get married, but on one condition. What condition? Tang Yu asked. I'll try my best to make it up to you, except for falling in love with you. The condition is, go to hell. I'll never marry you in this life. Ning Shu hung up the phone. Except for falling in love with you. Tang Yu's face was ashen. He looked exhausted. Now that the company was in a panic, the shareholders were not very satisfied with him as the president. He had to find a partner to face this risk together. After thinking about it, the One Family was very suitable. Moreover, the One Family shopping mall was beneficial for selling the company's products. He originally thought that when Hanlei was willing to marry him, but she made a statement. With a tone of reminiscing about the past, he forcefully tied him and Bai Feifei together. What a lousy teammate. Since Ning Shu's method didn't work, Tang Yu asked his parents to take the route of Mr. and Mrs. Wen. Now it was Mr. Wen's turn to ignore Tang Yu's parents. When they talked about their marriage, Mr. Wen only said that he would respect his daughter's choice and that her happiness was the most important. She rejected Tang Yu's parents' idea of a marriage alliance. Mr. Wen knew that the Tang family wanted to tie the Tang family and the One Family together. However, the Tang family's situation was not optimistic now, and Mr. Wen did not want to get involved. However, he still promised that the Tang family's products would be given preferential treatment in the marketplace. This kind of promise was easy to hear. There was no specific contract, and there were no clauses listed clearly. It was just bullshit. Mrs. Wen called Ning Shu and told him that she would not let Ning Shu marry Tang Yu. She told Ning Shu that his father actually doted on him. Ning Shu rolled his eyes. This was definitely not because he felt bad, but because the Tang family was not worth cooperating with now. However, Ning Shu did not say anything. Anyway, he had gotten rid of Tang Yu and did not get involved in Tang Yu and Bai Feifei's bullshit. Don't always pull her out to take the blame when something happened. Did he really think that she would agree just because he acted first and reported later? Did she look naive and innocent? Now that she had nothing to do with Tang Yu, Ning Shu felt relaxed. However, Tang Yu had announced in front of so many reporters that she wanted to marry him. Politeness demands reciprocity, so Ning Shu felt that she should reciprocate. Ning Shu called the entertainment news agency and prepared to tell them about Tang Yu and Bai Feifei's intimate relationship. However, Ning Shu was afraid that the other party would record it, so he changed his phone number and voice. Then he called the news agency to expose it. Now that Tang Yu and Bai Feifei's relationship was a hot topic, he believed that the entertainment news agency would be happy to have such gossip. After exposing the news, Ning Shu broke the phone card and threw it into the toilet bowl to flush it away. He sat down and read tomorrow's newspaper. Actually, Tang Yu had already committed a crime. He had raped an underage girl. Although Bai Feifei was already over 14 years old and was no longer a young girl. She was only 16 years old and was still underage. To be honest, this kind of rapist male lead really had so much charm that he could make people forget about the blood feud. Sure enough, his skills in bed were passable. Blood feud was nothing. The entertainment news headline the next day was Tang Yu forces underage girl to have sex. This name Ning Shu liked it. It was now up to Tang Yu to explain that they had already had sex. The secretary sent the newspaper to Tang Yu's office before dawn. Tang Yu was just getting out of bed. And Bai Feifei was so tired that she did not even open her eyes once. When Tang Yu saw the newspaper, he was so angry that he flipped the coffee table. "President, what should we do?" the secretary asked. Tang Yu held his forehead. You go to the office first. Once the secretary left, Tang Yu could no longer control his emotions. Not only did he flip the coffee table, he even smashed the expensive vase in the room. Very few people knew about this matter. Tang Yu glanced at the trembling servant beside him. Were you the one who leaked this to the news agency? The servant was stunned, then looked wronged. She hurriedly said, Mr. Tang, I really didn't leak it. Really? Scram! Tang Yu roared. The servant was so frightened that she ran out. Tang Yu's face was ashen. He locked all the doors and windows in the house, especially Bai Feifei's room. He locked the door and locked Bai Feifei in the room. Bai Feifei slept until noon when she woke up. She could not open the door at all. The house was quiet and there was no one around. She called Tang Yu, but Tang Yu hung up after saying that he had something to do. He had more important things to deal with now and could not care about Bai Feifei at all. Bai Feifei curled up on the bed alone, her tears forming a river. She was in extreme pain. When Tang Yu came back in the middle of the night, Bai Feifei had fainted from hunger and had a high fever. Tang Yu hurriedly sent Bai Feifei to the hospital. However, he did not expect to be caught red-handed by the reporters who were waiting outside the villa. Looking at the photo, they had to make up some story. Anyway, it was all about looking at pictures and telling stories. The next day, the entertainment headlines were actually, went to the hospital in the middle of the night, suspected of having a miscarriage. Ningshu, miscarriage? These newspapers were really going all out for the sake of sales. With Bai Feifei's self-loathing and self-blame, she felt that she was the most miserable person in the world every day. She tortured herself, did not eat, and did all kinds of torture. It would be strange if her body did not fall ill. Ningshu paid attention to these two people's affairs. At the same time, he worked hard to manage Huaxin Marketplace. He relied on Huaxin Marketplace to gain a foothold in the company. Chapter 1061. Although Huaxin Marketplace's profits couldn't be compared to other marketplaces, it was still thriving. There was hope in life. From time to time, she would pay attention to the Tang family's situation. When she saw that Tang Yu wasn't doing well, she was relieved. Now Tang Yu was surrounded by scandals. First, it was revealed that he had an incestuous relationship with his adopted daughter. Any relationship in the legal sense was incestuous. Now, it was revealed that he had an affair with an underage adopted daughter. This kind of peachy news was the most eye-catching and the public loved to hear about it. Now, Tang Yu wasn't in a good situation. It wasn't easy to build a good reputation. To destroy it, it was a matter of minutes. Her mission was more or less complete. Now that the company was having a meeting, Ningshu, as the manager of Huaxin Marketplace, could also attend the meeting. In the past, the company's decisions had nothing to do with Huaxin Marketplace. But now that Ningshu could attend the meeting, it meant that the company had included Huaxin Marketplace in the company's decision-making. Ningshu and Wen Ermiai often saw each other in the company, and it was common for them to argue with each other. Ningshu couldn't be bothered to stay in the company. Most of the time, he stayed at Huaxin Marketplace and managed it well. Once he showed his value, Father Wen wouldn't casually marry her to a rich playboy. Ningshu still asked the private investigator to pay attention to the Tang family's matters, especially Tang Yu and Bai Feifei. But not long after, Ningshu received news from the private investigator that Bai Feifei had a miscarriage. Ningshu, Bai Feifei was only 16 years old, dear mother. You guys really knew how to play. Did you think that being young meant being indulgent and squandering? Their relationship was built on someone else's life. With such a relationship, he didn't know if he would have nightmares when he fell asleep. Tang Yu's scandals caused the Tang family's stocks to plummet. As the leader of a company, how could he convince others without a glorious image? As for Bai Feifei, in this kind of sadistic novel, the male protagonist would abuse her, and she would also abuse herself. She probably felt that she was too cheap, and wanted to abuse herself to reduce the shame in her heart. Ningshu couldn't figure out how to solve the problem at this time if they didn't eat and drink enough. Under the pressure of the company's shareholders, Tang Yu's father had no choice but to remove Tang Yu from the position of CEO and let someone more capable take over. But now that the company was in the middle of a storm, whoever took over would have a bit of a headache. Tang Yu, who had been fired, had more time to spend with Bai Feifei. If you like me and you love me, I will torture your heart. If I like you and I love you, I will torture your body. Even if I can't get your heart, I will get your body. Ning Shu told the private investigator not to send him any more information. Just hearing about the two of them was enough to make Ning Shu feel mentally exhausted. Now that she was ready to leave this world, she was anxious to go back and see how the two pearls were doing. I wonder how 2333 is doing. 2333, what's the situation now? Ning Shu called out to 2333. 2333 did not respond. Fuck 2333, are you dead? If you're not dead, squeak. Ning Shu shouted again. Ning Shu hammered the ground. What the hell was going on? Ning Shu waited and waited, waiting for 2333 to tell him to leave this world. Ning Shu was worried that there was something wrong with the system space. Ning Shu did not wait for 2333 to speak. When she had nothing to do, she would go on a trip. Because Huaxin Marketplace was profitable, Ning Shu also received dividends. With money in his pocket, he could buy whatever he wanted, go wherever he wanted, and eat whatever he wanted. Awesome. Papa Wen even wanted to marry Ning Shu off. Ning Shu said calmly, so be it. I can make the marketplace profitable. No matter who I marry, I will be a blessing to the husband. Papa Wen thought for a while and said, Tang Yu's matter is quite big. You used to be Tang Yu's fiancé. Let's talk about it after Tang Yu's matter calms down a little. You are in a hurry to get married. People will say that the one family is heartless. Ning Shu wanted to roll his eyes. Who was the one who said that he wanted to marry her off? The matter of marriage was over just like that. Ning Shu waited and waited, waiting for 2333 to send him back. But after a long time, Ning Shu's heart was a little anxious. Why was he still not sending him back? Tang Yu and Bai Feifei's reputation was now in tatters. The mission of destroying their reputation had been completed. Papa Wen would not let her marry anyone casually. Why was he still not leaving this world? Was he going to stay in this world for the rest of his life? No, it would consume a lot of his soul power. If he died in this world, would his soul be able to return to the system space? Ning Shu felt that his whole body was not very good. Ning Shu waited and waited anxiously. Finally, he heard the system's voice. But it was not 2333's voice, but the cold mechanical voice. Mission completed. Leaving the mission world and entering the next mission world? What? Entering the next world? Didn't he first return to the system space? He had not seen the mission reward of this world. Why was it not 2333 that something had happened to him? What had happened to the system space? Could it be that 2333 had not solved the problem of the two pearls? Ning Shu's mind was full of questions. Before she could ask, her body was light and her head was dizzy. Then, she felt that she was stuffed into another body. In such a hurry. He did not even let her get used to it first. Ning Shu felt that her soul had completely merged. She opened her eyes and saw a gorgeous curtain. Ning Shu closed her eyes and decided to accept the plot first. Ning Shu waited and waited. Her mind was blank. Ning Shu felt a little scared. Waiting and waiting to accept the plot. But after waiting for a while, she did not receive the plot at all. Damn, where was the plot? What the hell was there to play without the plot? Ning Shu shouted to 2333 in her heart. Where's the plot? Give me the plot. There was no response. Ning Shu was not just a little scared, but very scared. Plot. Still, there was no response. Damn, why was she so unlucky? There was no plot, and there was no wish of the original owner. How was she supposed to help the original owner? How was she supposed to complete the mission? There was no hint at all. Ning Shu almost cried out. Ning Shu weakly called for the system. There was no response. Ning Shu gave up. She could only search for memories in this body. Then there was nothing in this head. She could not find any basic information. Was the original owner retarded? 2333, what's going on? Tell me if he's dead or alive. She was so worried that she was about to die. She did not even have the time to talk. What worried Ning Shu the most was what the mission was. Without the mission, she could not complete the mission. Did she have to stay in this world forever? Chapter 1062. Only by completing the mission could she leave this world. But in this world, there was no plot, no mission and no memories. What should she do? What a terrible life. Ningxu opened her eyes. She could only take one step at a time. No matter what, she had to stay alive first. Otherwise, without the system to guide her soul back to the system space, she would become a lonely ghost. She, the mission enforcer, would be dead. Ningxu realized that she was really too weak. Not only was she unable to build her own world, but she also needed to rely on the system. If she could enter and leave the mission world at will, how good would that be? Ningxu planned to get up. The most important thing now was to figure out the identity of this body. Ningxu struggled to get up. When she got up, she was panicking and short of breath. She put her hand in front of her. Oh my, her hand was as thick as a carrot. The back of her hand was swollen like a steamed bun. Ningxu touched her face. Her face was soft. She touched all the way down to her chest. Too full. Her belly was so big that it looked like she was going to give birth. This was a fat person. Ningxu was speechless. Life was so helpless. Blessings did not come in pairs. Misfortune did not come alone. Creak. The door opened and a delicate and pretty maidservant came in with a bowl. This maidservant looked young, and had 2 buns on her head. When she saw Ningxu sitting on the bed, she immediately quickened her steps and walked to the bedside. She happily said, "Miss, you're awake. Quickly drink the pork trotter soup." Ningxu looked at the greasy pig trotter soup and gulped it down. She clearly did not want to eat, but her stomach felt very hungry and made a rumbling sound. "Miss, quickly eat." The maid Ningxu said, "Miss, your health is important." Ningxu closed her eyes and said to the maid, "Pour me a cup of water first. I'm thirsty." Okay. The maid immediately poured a cup of water for Ningxu. Ningxu reached out her chubby hand and took the cup. She gulped down the water and felt a little better. He didn't know if it was because he was too fat, but Ningxu felt a little dizzy. His head was spinning, and his head wasn't clear. "Young miss, quickly drink some soup. You haven't eaten for a day." The servant girl handed a bowl of pork trotter soup to Ningxu. There were also a few pieces of meat in the bowl. There were a few green onions floating in the soup, and it smelled quite good. But it was too greasy. Why didn't he scoop the grease off the top? Ningxu asked, "What's wrong with me?" "Miss, did you forget that you cried yourself unconscious in front of Master's coffin?" The little girl widened her clear eyes and stared at Ningxu. Ningxu was speechless. Only then did Ningxu notice that the servant girl's clothes were very simple and clean. Her father had died, yet she was still so extravagant. "Prepare vegetarian dishes for me. I'm in mourning," Ningxu said. In ancient times, filial piety was very important. Now that the father of this body had died, it was easy to get into trouble if one ate a lot of fish and meat. Looking at the decorations in the room, one could tell that they were either rich or respectable. She should be even more cautious. When the servant girl heard Ningxu say that she wanted to eat vegetarian dishes, a surprised expression appeared on her face. She immediately said, "Miss, don't worry. Young Master Gu said that you can eat whatever you want. It's fine." Who was young Master Gu? Eat whatever she wanted. The ancients had to be in mourning for 3 years, so they had to be vegetarian for 3 years. Moreover, they had to abstain from sexual intercourse. What was this young Master Gu thinking? "I'm in a bad mood. I don't want to eat greasy food. Prepare something light and some porridge for me." She hadn't eaten for a day. If she drank this bowl of greasy food, her body would suffer. She would definitely be dehydrated. The servant girl had a surprised expression on her face. Holding the bowl of pork trotter soup in her hands, she asked again, "Miss, you really don't want to drink?" "I'm not drinking. Prepare some porridge. Tell the kitchen and quickly come back." "I don't want minced meat in it," Ningxu said. "Yes." The servant girl left with the bowl of pork trotter soup. Ningxu felt that her body was very uncomfortable. However, she knew that the father of this body had passed away. The funeral hadn't been held yet. The servant girl returned quickly. Ning Shu said. Pour me another cup of water. The servant girl quickly poured a cup of water for Ning Shu. Ning Shu took a sip and said to the servant girl, let's play a game called I Ask You Answer. If you can't answer, you'll be punished. If you can answer, you'll be rewarded. Okay. The servant girl nodded her head like she was pounding garlic. What's your name? Ning Shu asked. My name is Shi Tao. Correct. What's my name? Miss, your name is Fang Wanxin. Fang Wanxin. Who is this young master gu you're talking about? Miss, what's wrong? Shi Tao couldn't help but ask Ning Shu. I'm testing you. Ning Shu calmly picked up the teacup and drank. Oh, young master gu, second young master Mo, and young master Li are all Mrs. husbands. Pft, cough 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 cough. Ning Shu spat out the tea in her mouth. She choked on the tea and felt a burning sensation in her throat. Miss, what's wrong? Shi Tao quickly reached out and patted Ning Shu's strong back. Miss, are you okay? She then took out a handkerchief and wiped the water stains on Ning Shu's mouth. Ning Shu wiped the tears from her eyes. I'm fine. I just drank too much. They're all my husbands? Ning Shu asked, the corners of her mouth twitching. That's right, husband candidates. They are the old master's adopted sons. Although they are called adopted sons, they are actually the young Miss husband candidates. The old master said that whoever the young miss likes and marries, the old master will give him the inheritance. Ning Shu was speechless. Okay, this was very powerful. Ning Shu coughed and asked, what does our family do for a living? We do everything. Selling cloth, buying and selling tea and herbs. Old master does everything that can make money, Shi Tao said. It was a pity that old master Mo was dead. She had no plot and no memories. She still had to face 3 husband candidates. Then who do I like? Ning Shu asked. Miss, I'm not very sure. Young master Gu Rue is mature and steady. He's always helped old master take care of the business. He's the dream lover of many girls in our county. Second young master Mo. Second young master Mo. What's wrong with second young master Mo? Ning Shu asked. Second young master Mo, Emojuechen, is androgynous. He's devilishly charming, but he does things too casually. It all depends on his mood. I saw him kill a servant with a smile on his face. Shi Tao's body trembled. She was clearly very afraid of Emojuechen. What about third brother? Ning Shu asked helplessly. Young Master Li is about the same age as Mississippi. He's young, handsome, romantic and affectionate. Miss likes to talk to young Master Li the most, Shi Tao said. Ning Shu was speechless. Ning Shu's initial impression of these 3 people was that they were dragons and phoenixes among men. Why were they gathered in this small merchant's house? How did my father die? Ning Shu passed the teacup to Shi Tao. He didn't intend to drink any more water. Miss, don't you remember? Old master was infected with an epidemic. Shi Tao stared at Ning Shu. Father. Ning Shu squeezed out tears. Chapter 1063. What about my mother? Ning Shu asked again. Miss, your mother had a difficult birth and passed away after giving birth to you. Shi Tao replied. Shi Tao, how long have you been working for me? Miss, what's wrong with you? Shi Tao asked worriedly. Don't you remember? I grew up with you. Ning Shu saw that Shi Tao was a little suspicious and stopped asking. Well, the game is over. You've answered all the questions. I'll reward you handsomely, Ning Shu said. Shi Tao immediately smiled. Ning Shu bowed and saluted. Thank you, Mississippi. The cook in the kitchen brought the porridge. Shi Tao quickly took it and blew on it while stirring it with a spoon. Ning Shu was so hungry now that she was dizzy and wanted to swallow the whole bowl. Fortunately, it was winter now and it cooled down quickly. Ning Shu finished a big bowl of porridge at once and felt a little better. Put on some clothes for me. I'm going to keep vigil. Ning Shu lifted the quilt and suddenly felt a cold wind rushing into the quilt. She really didn't want to get up. Miss, you should have a rest first. Master Gu said that you should have a good rest, and don't try to be brave. The 3 of them will be enough to keep vigil. Shi Tao quickly covered Ning Shu's legs with the quilt. It's snowing outside. It's very cold. Ningxu looked at Shi Tao and felt that Shi Tao was very obedient to Gu Rui. It's okay. Get me some clothes. Ningxu lifted the quilt ruthlessly. It was always right to follow the rules when the situation was unclear. Seeing that Ningxu insisted on getting up, Shi Tao opened the wardrobe and took out a plain dress. Ningxu got out of bed and realized how fat she was. She was like a ball. She almost couldn't see her toes. The clothes were very loose, and the belt was tied on the stomach. Ningxu wanted to cover her eyes. Shi Tao put the white cloth on Ningxu's head. Feeling sorry for Ningxu, she said, "Miss, Master has passed away. Miss, you have to take good care of yourself." Ningxu nodded. Shi Tao opened the door, and a gust of cold wind rushed into the room. Ningxu immediately shivered. Although he had a lot of fat on his body, Ningxu felt as if he was naked. If there was too much fat, the blood would not circulate, and it would be cold. Ningxu adjusted his cloak and left the room. "You walk in front," Ningxu said to Shi Tao. Shi Tao's face was filled with shock and confusion. She then replied with a no, and led Ningxu to the morning hall in the front hall. White lanterns and white sails hung in the corridor. The courtyard was already covered in a layer of snow. The cold wind whistled and blew, cutting into the crevices of the bones like knives. When they finally arrived at the morning hall, Ningxu was already out of breath. He leaned on the door frame to catch his breath. In the middle of the room was a coffin. There were monks sitting on both sides of the coffin, chanting complicated and difficult scriptures. In front of the coffin, 3 people in mourning clothes knelt. They were putting round paper money in the brazier, and the flames were dancing. Ningxu's breathing stabilized. He walked into the room and planned to kneel down, but found that there was no prayer mat for him. Ningxu hesitated. Should he kneel on the ground? It was such a cold day, and the ground was so hard. Ningxu hesitated. 3 pairs of eyes turned to stare at him. Ningxu glanced at the 3 people and immediately matched the information that Shi Tao had told him. This person's style was too obvious. One was calm and pretentious. One was neither male nor female, and the other was shy and weak. Ningxu and the 3 of them stared at each other, speechless for a moment. Shi Tao took a prayer mat and put it in front of Ningxu. Under the gaze of 3 pairs of eyes, Ningxu knelt down with a plop. The fat on his body shook violently. The 3 people looked away at the same time. Ningxu's face trembled. Damn, he was too heavy. When he knelt down, even with a thick prayer mat, Ningxu still felt that his knees were going to break. Ningxu glanced at the 3 people with the corner of his eyes. He rolled his eyes and scanned the situation in the morning hall. Gu Rui, who was kneeling beside Ningxu, asked Ningxu, "Are you feeling better?" Gu Rui's voice was like spring water flowing slowly. He spoke slowly, but there was an indescribable feeling of otherworldliness. He was calm and indifferent. Ningxu's ears moved. He lowered his head and said, "Much better. Since this fat girl is here, I'll take my leave first." Mo Juechen stood up and took off the linen cloth on his head. "This is the first time I've worn something like this in my life." Mo Juechen's hair was as black as ink. Even though he was wearing a coarse linen cloth, it couldn't hide his beauty. His eyes were indifferent and his movements were casual. He was full of evil. This was a man who was used to doing whatever he wanted. This man must have killed many people. Call him Godfather. I've guarded his coffin for a day. That's enough. Mo Juechen walked out of the hall and disappeared in a flash. Ningxu was speechless. Damn, he's a martial arts expert. Brother Rui, I'm a little hungry. I want to eat something, Li Jioga said to Gu Rui. When he spoke to Gu Rui, he even winked at Ningxu. Gu Rui nodded. Go ahead. Li Jioga was only about 14 years old. The old master had even made Li Jioga a candidate for her husband. He was crazy. Ningxu and Gu Rui knelt side by side in front of the coffin. Ningxu took out a stack of paper money and prepared to burn it. When he stretched out his hand, he saw his carrot-like fingers. In addition to the cold weather, they were bright red. He looked at Gu Rui's hands. They were slender and white. Ningxu was speechless. Why did a man's hands look so good? Forget it, I won't burn paper money. I'll just kowtow. Ningxu kowtowed twice. He was panting. His body was too fat. He couldn't kowtow at all. Fuck, Fatty's heart really aches. Gu Rui glanced at Ning Shu and said, Fang Lanqin, don't be too sad. I promised Godfather that I would take good care of you. Ning Shu snorted but didn't say anything. She was confused. Without the plot, she didn't know what had happened. She didn't know the background and character of the old master's 3 godsons. She didn't know the love and hatred between Fang Yulan and these people. She had to figure everything out by herself. Seeing these 3 people, Ning Shu didn't think that they would care about the Fang family's wealth. They even wanted to marry this chubby orphan girl. She didn't know anything now. It was better to stay calm. After kneeling for a while, Ning Shu felt that his body couldn't take it anymore. He moved his knees. Shi Tao, help your miss up, Gu Rui said to Shi Tao. Shi Tao immediately reached out to help Ning Shu. But Ning Shu was too heavy. Shi Tao's small face was red. Ning Shu sat on the chair. The chair creaked. Ning Shu was speechless. Damn, it was so awkward. Gu Rui knelt on the ground and elegantly put paper money into the brazier. Gu Rui's expression was indifferent. No one knew what he was thinking. Chapter 1064. Ning Shu felt that Gu Rui was an unfathomable man. His calm demeanor was just a cover. Winter nights came early. After the sky turned dark, the weather became even colder. Ning Shu's lips were turning blue from the cold. Gu Rui saw that Ning Shu was shivering and said, Go eat something warm and sleep. You won't be able to stay up at night. It's not good to leave you alone. Gu Rui was the most stable person among the 3. And it seemed that he was also the most responsible person. Mo Juechen's thoughts were like the wind. Li Jiogo was just a child. I know, Gu Rui said as he threw paper money into the brazier. Ning Shu couldn't take it anymore. His hands and feet were cold, as if he was stepping on knives. This body was too weak. Ning Shu said to Gu Rui, I'll cover my hands for a while. Back in the room, Ning Shu quickly hid under the blankets. Shi Tao brought the brazier to the bedside. Ning Shu said, Miss, do you want to drink pork trotter soup? Ning Shu was speechless. Why was she so against pork trotters? No, I'll just have porridge. Ask the cook to send some to Gu Rui, Ning Shu said. Her father was dead, and Gu Rui was an outsider. Okay. Shi Tao closed the door behind her when she went out. Ning Shu put his hands on the brazier to warm his cold hands. Ning Shu had never experienced such a cold winter. It wasn't that the weather was cold, but that this body was afraid of the cold. His hands were like ice. There was no warmth at all under the blankets. Shi Tao came back quickly. Her nose was red. She placed a bowl of hot water beside Ning Shu's feet. Miss, cover your nose. Miss has been afraid of the cold since she was young. Shi Tao went to the kitchen to serve Ning Shu food. Ning Shu sighed. Ning Shu was at a loss. When she was doing quests, she always had a goal to strive for. But now she had no goal. Ning Shu was at a loss. Ning Shu was worried that he might spend the rest of his life in this world. I wonder how 2333 is doing. He couldn't control his own destiny. Ning Shu calmed himself down. No matter what, the situation was already so bad that it couldn't get any worse. It was useless for her to worry. Even if he had to stay in this world for the rest of his life, it would still be his gain. However, she had yet to construct a world, become a super mission taker, and climb to the top of the pyramid. She was unwilling to die like this. Shi Tao came over with a lunchbox. She took out a few vegetarian dishes and a stack of desserts. Miss, hurry up and eat, or it will get cold. Ning Shu looked at the food and swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He felt very hungry. This body's appetite was really too big. No wonder it was so fat. Ning Shu ate until she was half full. She tried hard not to look at the leftovers on the table. He snuggled under the blanket. Ask the kitchen to send some food to Gu Rui. I've already told them. They won't dare to not send it. Shi Tao said. Ning Shu raised his eyebrows. It seemed that the 3 of them had a lot of power in the Fang family. It's cold. You should go and rest early. You don't have to watch over me. Ning Shu said to Shi Tao. I'm fine. Miss will be hungry in the middle of the night. I have to prepare food for you. Shi Tao shook her head. Ning Shu was speechless. No wonder she was so fat. She ate too much and the excess calories became fat. No need. I've decided to lose weight. I'm too fat to walk, Ning Shu said. Shi Tao's face was filled with worry. Miss, why did you think of this? You tried it before and you fainted from hunger. The doctor said that your body is weak and you can't do strenuous exercise. Shi Tao said. I grew up with Mississippi. Miss has been like this since young. I think that Miss is cute no matter what you do, Shi Tao said sincerely. Ning Shu sighed. Miss, don't starve yourself. Your body won't be able to take it, Shi Tao said again. Ning Shu nodded. Don't worry. I won't go on a diet. Then I'm relieved. Miss, call me when you're hungry. Shi Tao tidied the blanket for Ning Shu, and then looked back repeatedly. She looked like she wanted Ning Shu to stop her first. Ning Shu was speechless. What a stubborn girl. Wasn't it cold to stay here on such a cold day? Have a good rest, Ning Shu said to Shi Tao. Miss, have a good rest too. Shi Tao went out and closed the door. The room was quiet. Ning Shu listened to the howling cold wind outside. She sat up with difficulty. This body was stiff. She didn't know if it was because of the cold weather or because she didn't exercise often. Ning Shu sat cross-legged like this. She was so tired that her heart was thumping wildly. She saw stars in front of her. Ning Shu took a deep breath and began to practice her peerless martial arts. However, Ning Shu didn't feel too good. Ning Shu could clearly feel the spiritual energy, but her body couldn't absorb it. Her body's muscles and veins were thin and weak. Because she was too fat, it caused great damage to her bones. Her bones were much older than those of her peers. Ning Shu frowned. She straightened her back and continued to practice. Although the effect was slow, Ning Shu felt that her body was warm. Her hands and feet were no longer cold and stinging. With her body warm, Ning Shu was even more motivated to practice. She definitely had to lose weight. Being too fat was harmful to her health. Ning Shu felt the pulse of this body. It was weak. She didn't know why, but at such a young age, her body was in subhealth. It was developing in the direction of diabetes. It seemed that she had to take care of her body in the future. Otherwise, it was really easy to die suddenly. After practicing for a night, Ning Shu's body was warm. The next morning, Ning Shu went to the morning hall and saw that Gurue was still guarding the coffin. He was wearing a cloak. Ning Shu was a little surprised. Did he really guard here all night? And the door was still open. The cold wind poured into the room. It was no different from being in a world of ice and snow. Ning Shu walked over and knelt on the cattail hassock. She turned to look at Gurue. His eyebrows were a little haggard. Under the white furry collar, his face looked like a gentleman. You've been guarding the coffin all night? Ning Shu asked. Gurue nodded and stared at the coffin with a complicated gaze. Foster father's kindness to me is as heavy as a mountain. It's only right to guard the coffin. You go rest. I'll guard it for a while, Ning Shu said to Gurue. Gurue was indeed sleepy. He wanted to get up, but his legs were numb and his body staggered. Ning Shu reached out to support him. Thank you. Gurue turned and left the morning hall. After Gurue left for a while, Li Jioga came in. He knelt down and kowtowed twice. He turned to look at Ning Shu. Yuan, don't be sad. Foster father doesn't want to see you like this. Li Jioga looked delicate. Because of his young age, his skin was delicate. How could such a child be from an ordinary family? Where did the old man find such a child? I know, Ning Shu said. Chapter 1065. Li Jioga took out a flower from behind his back. This is for you. Ning Shu was surprised. Where did this flower come from in the middle of winter? Thank you. Ning Shu took the flower. Where did you get this flower? Guess. Li Jioga had a mischievous look on his face. Then he put the paper money into the brazier. Ning Shu stared at the coffin made of Phoebe Jianan wood. A wave of sadness welled up in his heart. This should be Fang Yulan's emotion. Her father was lying inside. He had suddenly been infected with an epidemic. Ning Shu turned to Li Jioga and asked, How did you meet my father? Li Jioga paused and remained silent. It seemed that there was a secret that couldn't be told. I'm just asking. You don't have to answer. Ningshu used a wooden stick to poke at the oil lamp. This oil lamp couldn't be extinguished until the funeral. The coffin stayed at home for 3 days. On the day of the funeral, Emojuechin, who had run off somewhere, came back. The person who sent the coffin was Gurue. Ningshu and his 2 foster sons followed behind the funeral procession. Ningshu looked at Emojuechin beside him. He could dress so devilishly even when he was wearing mourning clothes. The burial site was chosen by the old man when he was still alive. It was a place with good feng shui. Ningshu looked at the coffin that was buried in the soil. Unknowingly, tears streamed down his face. He felt very uncomfortable. Emojuechin handed Ningshu a handkerchief. "Wipe your tears. You're already ugly. I can't bear to look at you when you cry." Ningshu took Emojuechin's handkerchief and wiped his tears and mucus. Then, he stuffed the handkerchief back into Emojuechin's hands. "Here." Emojuechin picked up the handkerchief and threw it away. Ningshu, damn it. That hurt his pride. How could such a person be a husband candidate? Nonsense. With her qualifications, none of the 3 husband candidates would be able to get her. Ningshu stared at Emojuechin's face as though he had nothing left to live for. To be honest, Ningshu suspected that Emojuechin was the leader of the demon sect. Most people with such an aura were not good people. Emojuechin looked away from Ningshu expressionlessly. He didn't even look at Ningshu. It was completely ignored. Ningshu's heart was very sad, and tears fell down. After the funeral, Ningshu's long sleeves were wet. When they got on the carriage, Ningshu finally cried out loud. But after crying out loud, he felt much better. Miss, don't cry." Shitao hurriedly wiped away Ningshu's tears. Ningshu leaned on Shitao's shoulder and almost pressed Shitao down. After crying for a while, the depression in his heart dissipated a lot. Ningshu actually felt refreshed. "Miss, don't be like this. I feel bad." Shitao also sniffled and started crying. When the 3 husband candidates heard the screams from inside, they all urged their horses to leave one after another. "Gurue, I'll give that girl to you as your wife," Emojuechin said to Gurue. Gurue's expression didn't change. "If I don't succeed, I won't have a family." Emojuechin's face was full of disdain. Emojuechin then turned to Li Jioga. Li Jioga hurriedly waved his hand. "Don't look at me. I'm still so young. I won't get married so soon." Emojuechin's face was full of disdain. "What does that have to do with anything? That girl is the same age as you. She's of marriageable age and you're 16. It's time to start a family. Why aren't you the one getting married to Fang Yulan?" Li Jioga asked Emojuechin. Emojuechin raised his eyebrows and slowly clenched his fists. He blew on them. "I'm not patient. You know that I kill people like flies. Who knows when I'll stab her to death. Let's think of a way to make that girl talk. Fang Mingji is a sly old fox. He won't tell us where that thing is even until he dies. He even wants one of us to marry his daughter." Emojuechin looked at his fingernails. Gurue still looked indifferent. Li Jioga blinked and asked, "What are you talking about?" "It's none of your business. Gurue, why don't you marry her? I only want the secret manual that can dominate the pugilistic world. I don't care about anything else." Emojuechin leaned forward and looked at Gurue. Gurue glanced at Emojuechin. "Why don't you marry her? You kill people like flies. What's the big deal?" "I'm just ruthless." "You're ruthless. I can't compare to you," Emojuechin said politely. Li Jioga was stunned. He shook his head. Ningshu and Shitao hugged each other and cried. When they returned to the Fang family, Ningshu and Shitao's eyes were swollen like walnuts. Ningshu returned to his room and looked in the bronze mirror. He was stunned. "Miss, don't worry. I'll get some hot water for you. It'll reduce the swelling." Ningshu wasn't shocked by his swollen eyelids. He was shocked by his face. He thought that he would be fat, but his face was as big as a plate. His facial features were all squashed together. It was really a case of being fat. Coupled with her swollen eyes, she was really unbearably ugly. Shitao squeezed a hot handkerchief dry and applied it to Ningshu's eyes. "Shitao, how did my father get infected?" Ningshu asked Shitao with his eyes closed. Shitao pressed the handkerchief and said, "Miss Master is kind-hearted. After the snowstorm, Master went to the place where the snowstorm happened and donated food and cotton-padded clothes. In the end, he was infected with the disease. Ningshu felt that old master had died in a hurry. Ningshu felt that there was a conspiracy. Shitao, who do you think is suitable to be my husband? Ningshu asked Shitao. Shitao smiled. Miss, it's hard for me to say. Old master said that you can marry whoever you like. You're old master's only daughter. Old master does everything for your happiness. Miss, who do you like? I just can't make up my mind. What do you think? Ningshu said. In fact, she really couldn't marry whoever she wanted to. Her appearance had nothing to do with beauty. Furthermore, she was terrifyingly heavy. Most men wouldn't be interested in her. What gave old master the confidence to let her choose one of the three and marry whoever she wanted? These three people were not simple people. Ningshu didn't believe that they lived in this small temple, without any ulterior motives. Thinking about it, she felt that there were all kinds of problems. The temple was small, but the wind was strong. Who do you think is suitable for marriage? You don't know their family background and identity. How did they come to the Fong family? Ningshu asked Shitao. Shitao said. Miss, they were all saved by old master. Old master adopted them. Ningshu, with Mo Jiuechen's skills, how could old master save him? Don't be kidding. She had a chance to see if Gu Rui knew martial arts. She didn't know anything now, nor did she have any memories. She could only get useful information from Shitao. Chapter 1066. Shitao, who do you want your miss to marry? Ningshu asked Shitao. Young miss, I think young Master Gu is more suitable for Mississippi. Young Master Gu has been helping old master take care of the Fong family's business. He is mature and steady. He is a match made in heaven with Mississippi. Young Master Gu will definitely take good care of Mississippi. Ningshu was speechless. They were a match made in heaven. If Shitao was not blind, then others were. Sometimes, appearances could be quite intimidating. Gu Rui was calm and indifferent, but it was hard to tell what a person's heart was. Who knew if Gu Rui's heart was red or black? Second, young Master Mo is not in the Fong family for 8 to 10 days. When he comes back, no one dares to go near him. He kills servants at the drop of a hat. Miss, please don't marry him. Shitao tried her best to persuade Ningshu. Damn, he was so cruel. Young Master Li is just a child. He can't be relied on by Mississippi, Shitao said. Shitao's analysis was quite accurate. However, they were all picky here. Ningshu could guarantee that none of them would fancy her. Ningshu pinched the meat on her stomach. Taking advantage of the morning period, she increased her exercise to lose weight. Ningshu was too lazy to apply it to her eyes. It didn't matter if it was swollen. I'm going to bed to sleep for a while. You should rest too. Apply it to your eyes. Ningshu said. Okay, miss, call me if you need anything. Call me if you're hungry. Shitao took the basin out. Ningshu stretched her legs and sat cross-legged on the bed. She closed her eyes and began to cultivate. Her body was too weak. It was difficult to cultivate. Until now, there was only a trace of almost invisible qi in her energy center. It was too fucking shabby. In ancient times, there was a lot of spiritual energy, but the body cultivated slowly. After cultivating for a long time, Ningshu heard Shitao's voice. Miss, are you awake? Ningshu lay down and covered herself with the blanket. She said, come in. Shitao walked in. Ningshu said, Miss, it's time to eat. Young Master Gu asked you to eat in the front hall. What do you want to eat? Ningshu asked casually. I heard it's fire pot. Shitao found some clothes and put them on Ningshu. She draped a furry cloak over him. Ningshu glanced at himself in the mirror. It was such a beautiful cloak, but when it was draped over his body, it was like wrapping an oil barrel. There was no sense of beauty. She made Shitao, who was beside her, look like a fairy. She was cute when she was chubby when she was young, but if she was still chubby when she grew up, then she would be too fat. It was ugly, not cute. Hot pot. Hot pot isn't a good idea. His father had just been buried. Hot pot. Young Master Gu said that these are all vegetarian dishes. The weather is cold, so eating them will make you feel warm. Shitao smiled and said, Miss likes to eat hot pot the most. Now Gu Rui had really become the head of the Fong family. When Ning Shu arrived at the front hall, he could smell the spicy aroma even before he entered the house. Ning Shu swallowed his saliva with a gulp. The hot pot was boiling in the boiling pot. Gu Rui, Emojiuechen, and Li Jioga sat around the table. Ning Shu walked over and sat down. Shi Tao closed the door and stood at the side to wait. Lanqin, the dead are gone. You have to be more open-minded. Gu Rui comforted Ning Shu. Thank you, but I don't have anyone to rely on now, Ning Shu said dejectedly. When Ning Shu said this, no one responded to Ning Shu. Ning Shu, damn, there was an awkward silence. Was he that afraid of marrying her? White smoke from the hot pot floated over Ning Shu's face. Ning Shu said to Li Jioga, change seats with me. Okay. Li Jioga agreed without thinking. Ning Shu sat in Li Jioga's seat, but the smoke still floated over to her face. Ning Shu looked at Gu Rui expressionlessly. Change seats with me. Gu Rui nodded. Ning Shu sat in Gu Rui's seat. The white smoke mixed with the spicy smell entered Ning Shu's nostrils. Ning Shu looked at Emojiuechen helplessly. Change seats. Emojiuechen glanced at Ning Shu. You dare to change seats with me? Are you tired of living? Ning Shu stared at Emojiuechen. Li Jioga pulled Emojiuechen. Change seats for her. Emojiuechen snorted and stood up. Ning Shu sat in Emojiuechen's seat. The white smoke floated over to her face again. Ning Shu, slamming the table and crying. When one was unlucky, no matter where one sat while eating hot pot, the smoke would float to one's face. Ning Shu put down her chopsticks halfway through her meal. I'm full. You guys can eat. Gu Rui was surprised. Why are you eating so little? Even Emojiuechen was surprised. Who didn't know that Miss Fong was a glutton? Ning Shu looked at the three surprised faces and said, You guys look like you've seen a ghost when I eat less. Shi Tao, let's go. Ning Shu stood up. Her stomach bumped against the table, causing the bowls and chopsticks on the table to shake. Ning Shu was speechless. Damn, this is so awkward. Ning Shu turned and left expressionlessly. Shi Tao followed behind Ning Shu and asked, Miss, what's wrong? Are you unhappy? From tomorrow onwards, I'm going to start working out and losing weight, Ning Shu said. Miss, your body won't be able to take it. Shi Tao was very worried. It's okay. I'll just walk a little more and jump a little more every day, Ning Shu said. At night, Ning Shu practiced her ultimate martial arts. She woke up early in the morning to run around the courtyard or stretch her waist in the pavilion. Fortunately, her heart was beating very fast. Ning Shu was stretching her waist when she heard a mocking sound. Ning Shu looked around but didn't see anyone. Ning Shu lifted the curtain and ran out of the pavilion. He saw Emojiuechen standing on the pavilion. He was dressed in white and almost blended in with the surrounding snow. The cold wind blew at the corners of his clothes and his black hair. He was as beautiful as a painting. Emojiuechen jumped down from the pavilion and landed lightly on the snowy ground. Ning Shu felt that if he had jumped down, he would have landed in a huge hole. Emojiuechen walked in front of Ning Shu, leaving only a faint mark on the snow. Ning Shu's pupils shrank. This guy's martial arts are not weak. Ning Shu looked at Emojiuechen warily and took a step back, leaving a deep footprint in the snow. What are you doing? Ning Shu stood in front of Emojiuechen. Girl, do you understand my heart? Ha! Ning Shu's chin twitched. You should understand, right? Emojiuechen stared at Ning Shu. What does this mean? Is he confessing to me? Ning Shu. Ha 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 ha. Fong Yulan. Handsome, have you heard of health supplements? Do you need insurance? Do you need face masks? Do you need a small loan? Ning Shu asked. Emojiuechen looked at Ning Shu silently. I don't need health supplements, insurance, face masks, or small loans. I just want one thing. Emojiuechen reached out and wanted to strangle Ning Shu, but Ning Shu was too fat to have a neck. He bent two fingers and poked Ning Shu's eyes. Chapter 1067. Ning Shu hadn't expected Emojiuechen to make a move so suddenly. Furthermore, he was aiming for her eyes. If Emojiuechen really touched her eyes, her hands would probably be crippled. This bastard was really crazy. He was just talking to her. but he suddenly attacked her. Ningxu wanted to dodge Mo Juchen's attack, but her feet were stuck in the snow. It took a lot of effort and time to pull them out. She couldn't think of an effective counterattack, so she fell to the ground with a plop. She fell forward and grabbed Mo Juchen's clothes. Damn, he's crazy. Ningxu's other hand grabbed Mo Juchen's pants. The sound of fabric tearing and Ningxu falling to the ground could be heard. Mo Juchen's actions were immediately noticed. Ningxu lifted her head slightly. Her face was covered in snow, and she saw a pair of strong and slender legs. Ningxu's eyes moved up to his thighs. Damn, I can't look up anymore. It hurts my eyes. Feng Lanxin let go. Mo Juchen hurriedly pulled up his pants. Ningxu didn't let go of Mo Juchen's pants. Mo Juchen, I'm not that easy to bully. Ningxu's face was red as she huffed and puffed. Let go of me. Mo Juchen pinched Ningxu's swollen hands. Let go. Mo Juchen, I'm going to kill you. Ningxu grabbed Mo Juchen's pants and pulled hard. Mo Juchen's body fell backwards onto the snow with a plop. Feng Lanxin, I'm going to kill you. Mo Juchen's voice seemed to come out from the gaps between his teeth. It was abnormally sinister and terrifying, causing people to tremble in fear. Ningxu hurriedly got up and shouted, Help! Someone wants to kill me. Shut up. Mo Juchen hurriedly pulled up his pants. What's wrong? Gu Rui walked over and looked at the flustered Mo Juchen. Ningxu quickly hid behind Gu Rui and pointed at Mo Juchen. He wants to kill me. He wants to kill me. Mo Juchen bared his teeth. Feng Lanxin, you'd better be careful. I'll remember what happened today. Ningxu stared at Mo Juchen. I'll remember this as well. If you ever fall from grace, I'll definitely kick you when you're down. Mo Juchen, what are you doing? Why are you fighting with Lan Xian? Gu Rui frowned. Mo Juchen's face was filled with impatience. I don't have the patience to stay here any longer. Hurry up and get this damned lass to hand over the item. Gu Rui, for your sake this time, I won't touch this wretched girl. Otherwise, I will detain this wretched girl and squeeze all her fat out of her to light a sky lantern. Mo Juchen flew away, his voice getting further and further away. Things in the cult. Mo Juchen was indeed here for something. But what was it? Gu Rui narrowed his eyes as he watched Mo Juchen fly away. He turned back, and his gaze landed on the back of Ningxu's hand. The back of his hand was swollen from Mo Juchen's pinch. Are you all right? Gu Rui asked gently. Ningxu smiled. I'm fine. Let's go back. I'll get some ointment for you, Gu Rui said. Ningxu nodded and returned to the house with Gu Rui. Ningxu turned back to look at the snow. Her footprints were very deep, while Gu Rui's were only shallow. She was heavier than Gu Rui, but Gu Rui was still an adult. People who practice martial arts had long breaths and light bodies. Ningxu had reason to suspect that Gu Rui knew martial arts. Back in the room, Gu Rui took out the ointment and applied it on the back of Ningxu's hand. The ointment was cold. Gu Rui applied it with moderate strength. Ningxu looked at Gu Rui and asked, Gu Rui, what is the thing that Mo Juchen was talking about? Gu Rui closed the box and said lightly, It's something attractive. What is it? Is it attractive to you too? Ningxu raised his eyebrows. Did old Master Li's death have something to do with these people? No, I don't care about those things. I just want to live a peaceful life now. Gu Rui kept the box. Ningxu didn't think that Gu Rui didn't care. Can I ask what it is? Ningxu asked. Gu Rui shook his head. I'm not sure either. Didn't Godfather give you anything? Ningxu, she didn't know anything at all. She didn't have the plot or memories. What did she know? It was hard to say whether Grandpa Sheng had given Feng Lanxin anything. Maybe he did. Maybe in the plot, the thing that old Master Li gave her was cheated away by her 3 potential husband candidates. Ningxu didn't feel at ease even with the young Li Jioga. What was it that had attracted them to the Feng clan? This small Feng clan had attracted the attention of 3 dragons and phoenixes. Ningxu didn't think that Gu Rui would stay in the Feng family peacefully. Some people weren't ordinary, and wouldn't be satisfied with the status quo. Don't provoke Mo Juchen. He's the leader of the demon sect. Every righteous sect wants to kill him. He kills people like flies. It's best not to provoke him, Gu Rui said lightly. Ning Shu. He was indeed a member of the demon sect. He had the independence of the demon sect, and the arrogance of the villains. Then can I know your and Li Jioga's identities? Ning Shu asked. Jioga is the son of the Empress of Rong Country. His mother's family was executed, and the Empress was deposed. He was sent out by the palace servants. There's no place for him in Rong Country. Ning Shu. So he was a prince. But he couldn't even be considered an ordinary person now. What about you? Ning Shu asked. He had a feeling that Gu Rui was also a reactionary. Me, Gu Rui said lightly. I'm the prince of Jia Country. Ning Shu. Descendant of the previous dynasty. Gu Rui looked at Ning Shu. Are you scared? Descendant of the previous dynasty? He should be called the remnants of the previous dynasty. Jia Country had already been destroyed. The current dynasty's royal family had taken over Jia Country. Ning Shu fuck. The old master was really awesome. The 3 adopted sons were all reactionaries. If any of them were discovered, the Fong family would cease to exist. Have you thought about reviving your country? Ning Shu asked. Gu Rui said lightly. There's a change of dynasty. Even if I want to revive my country, it's very difficult. It's basically impossible. I never waste time on things that are impossible, Gu Rui said. He glanced at Ning Shu's swollen hand. Don't let your wound get wet. By the way, Godfather passed away. Are you going to manage the Fong family's business? Gu Rui looked at Ning Shu gently. Ning Shu didn't know if Gu Rui was being sincere or testing him. He waved his hand. I'm a woman. How can I manage a business? I don't know anything about it. You can learn. How about this? I'll give you the monthly account book. I'll teach you what you don't know. Ning Shu said gently. Facing Gu Rui, Ning Shu's heart was full of vigilance. Chapter 1068. Even when facing Mo Juechen, Ning Shu was not this nervous. She knew that Mo Juechen was someone who did as he pleased and killed people without batting an eyelid. Gu Rui, on the other hand, had always been calm and collected. She did not know what kind of person he was. The way he acted was not enough to reveal his true nature. Fear came from the unknown. That was why Ning Shu was wary of Gu Rui. Although he said that he would not revive the country, she did not know what he was thinking. What was it that Mo Juechen was so obsessed with? Ning Shu returned to her room and rummaged around to see if there was anything special. Gu Rui and Li Jioga both had a blood feud and were filled with resentment. How could they live in peace? The old master wanted one of the 3 of them to marry her and inherit the family fortune. There must be something in the family fortune that they wanted. Otherwise, how could the old master have the confidence to let them marry her chubby daughter? Shi Tao silently watched as Ning Shu rummaged around. She asked, Miss, what are you looking for? Ning Shu did not know what she was looking for. She did not know what she was looking for. Ning Shu could not help but hit her own head. Her mind was blank. Ning Shu sat down and panted in exhaustion. Shi Tao hurriedly poured tea for Ning Shu. Ning Shu said, Miss, what are you looking for? You can tell me. I helped you keep your things. I'm looking for something my father gave me. Ning Shu said ambiguously. Oh, miss, you're looking for something old master gave you. Shi Tao smiled and went to the dressing table to pick up a makeup box. Miss, these jewelry were all bought for you by master. Take a look, there are some more rare things. Ning Shu opened the makeup box expressionlessly. There were indeed many things inside. There were bracelets, rings, hairpins, and all kinds of jewelry. Ning Shu lazily rummaged through the jewelry. She did not think that Mo Juechen was looking for something here. With Mo Juechen's skills, he must have searched this room many times. What exactly was it? Ning Shu scratched his head frantically. Young miss, what exactly do you want? Tell the servant. Shi Tao looked at Ning Shu's appearance and said somewhat anxiously. She did not know what to make. Her head hurt. It's time for lunch. Let's have porridge with some side dishes. Ning Shu and Shi Tao waved their hands. Shi Tao furrowed her brows and was extremely worried. Miss, if you eat this every day, your body won't be able to take it. Miss, eat some meat today. It's fine. I'm mourning now, so I don't eat meat. I know my own body well. Ningshu rummaged through the makeup box and found a pearl the size of a thumb. The pearls were round and bright. They were good stuff. Miss, I heard that this kind of pearl is a tribute, Shitao said. Don't talk nonsense. It's just an ordinary pearl. How could it be a tribute? Ningshu said in a bad mood. If a merchant's family had a tribute, they wouldn't be far from death. Yes, this servant is saying that this kind of pearl can't even be compared to a tribute. Shitao said with a smile. Ningshu shone the pearl under the light. The light was even. It was a good thing. Girl, this is for you. Ningshu picked a hairpin for Shitao. You won the game last time. This is your reward. The hairpin was made of silver, but the workmanship was very exquisite. It was lifelike and looked like a butterfly spreading its wings. Shitao quickly waved her hands. Miss, this is too precious. This servant can't accept it. It's for you. Just take it. Ningshu inserted the hairpin into Shitao's hair and said with a smile. Shitao is very beautiful. Thank you, Mississippi. Shitao and Ningshu curtsied. Ningshu nodded. Shitao went to do her work. Ningshu propped up her chin. She thought that Shitao was already 14 years old. It was the time for a young girl to yearn for love. She just didn't know if Shitao had someone she liked. There were 3 gorgeously dressed men in the house. They could mesmerize the maids in the house. Even Mo Juechen, who killed people like flies, had people admiring him. Therefore, the 3 of them were a little lethal. He just didn't know if Shitao had someone she liked. Ningshu let out a long sigh. He felt that there were no reliable people around him. Shitao had grown up with Fang Lanxin. He didn't know if she would betray the original owner. Forget it. I'll just cultivate. As long as I'm strong, I don't care about any schemes. Ningshu sat cross-legged on the bed. He closed his eyes and began to cultivate. When he heard footsteps outside, Ningshu stopped. Ningshu pinched the flesh on his body. He felt that his flesh was much tighter. The peerless martial arts strengthened the body, but there was still no way to get rid of the flesh on his body. He still had to be around fatty. With a creak, the door opened. It was Li Jioge. When Li Jioge saw Ningshu lying on the bed, he exclaimed and immediately covered his face with his sleeves. I say, why are you sleeping in bed in the middle of the day? Li Jioge used his sleeves to cover his face. Ningshu rolled his eyes. You were the one who barged into my room. Ningshu put on his shoes and asked, why are you looking for me? Nothing much. I just came to see you. Li Jioge sat down and poured himself a cup of tea. Ningshu also poured a cup. Why are you looking for me for no reason? I don't think you want to see my face. Her face wasn't very pleasing to the eye. Fang Lanxin, I've never said that you're ugly. Some people are beautiful, but they have the heart of snakes and scorpions. I've seen many beautiful women, and they can kill with a charming smile, Li Jioge said in a deep voice. He probably thought of the backyard of the palace where he used to live. Ningshu asked, you don't intend to go back? Li Jioge glanced at Ningshu. What do you know? If I go back, I'll be courting death. I can't go back before I'm strong enough. Ningshu. They were either people who carried a blood feud or people who killed people like flies. How did the old master gather these people together? The old master. Why are you looking for me? Ningshu asked again. Oh, by the way, Big Brother Gu said that he'll take you to see the Fang family shop tomorrow. You're my foster father's daughter. You should know these things. Li Jioge smiled at Ningshu and said, I'll go with you tomorrow. That's it. Ningshu looked at Li Jioge. Do you need to come here to tell me this? Actually, Li Jioge's face suddenly turned red, which made Ningshu feel quite strange. What's wrong? I've fallen in love with a girl, Li Jioge said. Pfft. Ningshu spat tea and saliva all over Li Jioge's face. He was determined not to drink water when chatting in the future. Cough, cough, cough. Which family is the girl from? Ningshu asked. Chapter 1069. Li Jioge had a sweetheart and actually came to tell her about it. Could it be to ask for her permission? Which family is it? Do I know her? Ningshu asked Li Jioge with a bashful expression. It's the young lady of the Li family, Li Jioge said. Li family? Which Li family? Ningshu blinked. She really didn't know which Li family she was from. She didn't even know who her family was. She didn't even go out. She didn't know who the young lady of the Li family was. She didn't know her name or what she looked like. Stop fooling around. You know it. Li Jioga nudged Ning Shu with her elbow. Ning Shu didn't move at all after being nudged by Li Jioga. What do I know? It's the richest Li family, Li Jioga said with a red face. When Ning Shu heard that it was the richest family, she suddenly turned her head and stared at Li Jioga. Ning Shu didn't have any impression of Miss Li, but combined Li Jioga's background and the Li family's wealth. A thought suddenly appeared in Ning Shu's mind. Li Jioga probably still wanted to rush back to Rong country. Was Li Jioga planning to use the Li family's wealth to pave the way for himself? Then, Ning Shu felt that she was thinking too much. Perhaps Li Jioga really liked Miss Li. How old is Miss Li? Ning Shu asked. Li Jioga looked at Ning Shu. Why? Aren't you friends with Miss Li? Miss Li is 2 years older than you. Ning Shu thought, this taste, she's in a relationship with a younger man. Ning Shu coughed. Why are you telling me this? Miss Li is already of marriageable age, and is about to get married. Can you marry her? Ning Shu's mind was full of twists and turns as various thoughts flashed through her mind. I definitely want to marry her. Oh right, I'm going to find Big Brother Gu. What did I tell you? Li Jioga's face lit up. She jumped up and ran off in a hurry. Ning Shu propped up his chubby chin with his chubby hand and looked at Li Jioga's back. Li Jioga's capricious behavior made him seem like a person who had fallen in love. Miss Shi Tao walked in and saw Ning Shu in a daze. She waved her hand in front of Ning Shu's eyes. Ning Shu came to his senses and said to Shi Tao, Li Jioga has fallen in love with someone. Huh? Shi Tao looked shocked. Who did young Master Li fall in love with? Ning Shu glanced at the agitated Shi Tao. Shi Tao restrained her expression. Miss, has young Master Li fallen in love with you? Ning Shu. How was that possible? How could he proceed to the next step if he didn't have good looks? Ning Shu looked at the shock and disappointment on Shi Tao's face. He didn't expect Shi Tao to like Li Jioga. The love story between Cinderella and the prince, the young master, and the maid was the most attractive. Li Jioga's image was most in line with the beautiful and hazy first love of young men and women. He was young, handsome, romantic and affectionate. However, Li Jioga was once the son of the empress and the legitimate son of a country's emperor. His status was very noble, and he naturally had pride in his heart. Ning Shu felt that the possibility of Li Jioga and Shi Tao's relationship was a little small. If the two of them were in love, it would be better. However, it was obvious that Shi Tao was in love with him. Shi Tao saw that Ning Shu was staring at her. She pinched the corner of her clothes and asked, Miss, who did young Master Li fall in love with? Young Master Li is one of the candidates for your husband. Miss Li, the richest man in the country, Ning Shu said. Shi Tao frowned tightly. How could it be her? Miss, you don't know. This Miss Li always says that you are fat. Miss, you hate her the most. You have always been at odds with each other. Even if young Master Li doesn't like you, he shouldn't like Miss Li. Who knows? Ning Shu's expression didn't look worried. Shi Tao looked a little dazed. Ning Shu was once again sure that Shi Tao liked Li Jioga. Is that Miss Li very beautiful? Ning Shu asked Shi Tao. Shi Tao rolled her eyes. She boasted that she was a great beauty. She was indeed beautiful. Ning Shu saw that Shi Tao was in a daze and said, Go and see if the cook is ready. Yes. Shi Tao turned and left. Lunch was sent over by the cook. The cook said that Shi Tao was not feeling well. Ning Shu casually ate a little, and went to see Shi Tao. Shi Tao was lying on the bed with the quilt covering her head. What's the matter? Ning Shu asked. It's nothing. I'm a little unwell and can't serve Mississippi. Shi Tao's voice was muffled and had a strong nasal sound. Then have a good rest. Shi Tao was heartbroken. Ning Shu returned to her room and began to cultivate. Now there was more qi in her dantian than before. The qi was slowly transforming her body. Although she was still fat, her muscles were firm, and she could be considered a healthy fatty. Ning Shu cultivated for half a day. Shi Tao, who had cried for half a day, came to serve Ning Shu with red eyes. Ning Shu sighed in her heart. Things were so helpless. Are you feeling better? Ning Shu asked. I'm much better. Thank you, Mississippi. Shi Tao's voice was a little hoarse. Miss, young Master Gu asked you to go to the front hall for lunch. He said that he has something to discuss with you. A servant girl walked in and bowed to Ning Shu. Ning Shu nodded. Could it be that he wanted to discuss Li Jioga's marriage? Li Jioga was not even fully grown, and he was going to get married? Ning Shu went to the front hall. Gu Rui and Li Jioga were sitting around the table. She didn't know what they were talking about. Gu Rui had a smile on his face while Li Jioga's mouth was pulled up to his ears. Ning Shu snorted and stomped his feet heavily on the ground. What do you want to talk to me about? Ning Shu glanced at the smiling Li Jioga. What are you laughing at? Today, I accompanied Jioga to the Li family, Gu Rui said. Ning Shu did not comment. What happened? The Li family agreed to the two of you getting married, but Jioga wants to live with them, Gu Rui said with a smile. Ning Shu glanced at Shi Tao, whose head was lowered and her face could not be seen. Then when are you getting married? Ning Shu asked Jioga. Shi Tao, go and see when the cook will finish cooking. Ning Shu sent Shi Tao away. Gu Rui glanced at Ning Shu and Shi Tao. He picked up the teacup and took a sip. His movements were elegant and noble. Yes. Shi Tao hurried out. Ning Shu asked directly. Why did the Li family agree to the two of you getting married? Is it because of the prince's identity? I am not a prince now. This identity will only bring me a fatal disaster. I don't need to say such things, Li Jioga said. Miss Li and I are truly in love. The corners of Ning Shu's mouth twitched. Congratulations then. For a wealthy family like the Li family, they wanted power with money. Li Jioga and the Li family were probably mutually beneficial. Thank you, Lanxin. You will definitely find your happiness, Li Jioga said. Damn, why does this sentence sound so familiar? You will definitely find your happiness. Isn't this the sentence of relief after breaking up? Ning Shu suspected that Li Jioga was afraid of marrying him, and hurriedly found someone to marry. Damn, it's not like you have to marry someone. Chapter 1070. Ning Shu's face darkened as he stared at Li Jioga. I wish you luck too. Li Jioga looked at Ning Shu's trembling face and looked away. I will come back to see you in the future. As long as you are well. Ning Shu poured himself a cup of water and took a sip. Gu Rui had a refreshing smile on his face. Lanxin, are you unhappy that your husband candidate married someone else? Ning Shu placed the teacup on the table. Not really. I just don't like Miss Li. She always says that I am fat. Li Jioga nodded. You are indeed a little fat. Get lost, gun. Ning Shu glared at Li Jioga. Gu Rui smiled. Even without Jioga, there are still me and Emojuechen. There are still two husband candidates. Ning Shu thought to himself, ha 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 ha. One wanted to kill her and the other was up to no good. Husband candidate? Bullshit, it was better to work hard and cultivate. The next time she saw Emojuechen, she would definitely cripple him. Lanxin, I want to get some money from the account to buy some things for Jioga. It will be more convenient if we go to the Li family, Ning Shu said. Ning Shu snorted. Why does it sound like you are marrying off your daughter? You are marrying Jioga to the Li family. Li Jioga was speechless. You don't look cute and you don't speak cute either. Oh, I don't know how to be direct, Ning Shu apologized. Li Jioga was speechless. Gu Rui, do as you see fit, Ning Shu said. It was good to send one of them away. Gu Rui heard Ning Shu call him by his real name. You used to call me Big Brother Gu. Big Brother Gu. Ning Shu grinned at Gu Rui. Ning Shu ate 2 mouthfuls of food with Li Jioga and Gu Rui. Then he moved his round body and walked away proudly. Li Jioga's wedding was a busy day. Shi Tao followed Ning Shu and looked at the busy Fong family with a dazed expression. Ning Shu said to Shi Tao, I asked you to take care of Li Jioga. Are you willing to go? After saying that, Ning Shu regretted it. Why did he ask Shi Tao to go? Li Jioga was already married. Did he want Shi Tao to watch Li Jioga and his wife love each other? I'm not willing to go. I have to take care of Mississippi. Young Master Li needs someone to take care of him. The Li family doesn't lack servants. Shi Tao thought about it and refused. After Li Jioga left, the Fong family became much quieter. Ning Shu was still cultivating every day. Now that she was much stronger, if she met Mo Juechen again, she would definitely be able to exchange a few blows with him. Running around the yard every morning. Ningxu had lost a lot of weight, but he was still fat compared to the average person. However, if he continued to lose weight like this, his skin wouldn't loosen up. When she had nothing to do, Ningxu would rummage through the house, looking for any hidden mechanisms or special items. Ningxu felt that she had to find that item. What exactly was it that made Gu Rui and Mo Juechen stay in the Fang family? But she didn't know what it was. Was it a key, a bead, a piece of paper, or a jade pendant? What a scam! Ningxu was sweating all over as she rummaged through everything. She had basically searched every corner of the house, but she didn't find anything special. There was no mechanism either. Ningxu even climbed up the roof beam and searched everywhere, but to no avail. Could it be that old Master Fang didn't give her anything? Damn it, my head hurts. There's no plot to be passive. Ningxu jumped down from the roof beam. It was heavy, but it felt like a feather when it landed on the ground. Ningxu couldn't be bothered to search anymore. She sat cross-legged on the bed and cultivated. If she couldn't find that item, that crazy Mo Juechen wouldn't be able to do anything to her as long as she was strong enough. Ningxu cultivated until midnight. Her nose twitched and she smelled a faint scent of blood. There were also sounds coming from the roof. Ningxu opened her eyes. There was someone. Ningxu got off the bed and leaned against the wall. She heard the window creak. Someone had opened the window. A person jumped into the house. This person was wearing white clothes. The moment he entered, the scent of blood became even stronger. It was Mo Juechen, and he was injured. Ningxu grinned and swung the wooden stick at Mo Juechen. Mo Juechen was an expert. When he heard the sound of the stick, he immediately turned around. When he saw the stick, he immediately used his jade flute to block it. However, Ningxu changed the direction of the stick and hit Mo Juechen's arm. Mo Juechen groaned and grabbed the stick. He wanted to restrain Ningxu, but Ningxu used all his strength and kicked Mo Juechen's leg. There was a slight cracking sound. Mo Juechen groaned in pain. After kicking Mo Juechen, Ningxu turned and ran. Mo Juechen's voice sounded behind him. Fang Wanqin, I'm going to skin you alive and boil your oil dry. Ningxu ran directly to Gu Rui's room, kicked open the door and walked in. Gu Rui was sitting on the bed. His hair was as black as ink and he was wearing white underwear. He looked like a beautiful man who had just woken up. What's wrong? Gu Rui asked Ningxu. Ningxu panted. There's a pervert in my room. Gu Rui was stunned. A pervert? It's a pervert. He even knows that my name is Fang Wanqin. He must have been coveting me for a long time, Ningxu said. Gu Rui didn't speak for a long time. What are you waiting for? Come with me to catch the pervert. Ningxu urged Gu Rui. Wait for a moment. Go out and wait for me. Ningxu turned and left. When Gu Rui came out, he had already put on his coat and went to Ningxu's room. Ningxu looked at her room, which was brightly lit. She hadn't even lit it when she left, but now it was brightly lit. Mo Juechen was really arrogant. Gu Rui walked into the room and saw Mo Juechen sitting on a stool. Ningxu entered the room and asked in shock. What are you doing in my room? Did you chase the pervert away? Pervert. Mo Juechen's voice was light. What are you doing? Why are you in Lanqin's room so late at night? Gu Rui asked calmly. He glanced at Mo Juechen. Are you injured? Those self-proclaimed righteous people ganged up on me. Mo Juechen looked at Ningxu. Those people didn't do anything to me. This wretched girl dares to make things worse for me. Ningxu was so shocked that his face was contorted. You're the pervert? Why are you in my room? Ningxu gathered his clothes and looked at Mo Juechen warily. Let me tell you, although you're my husband candidate, even if you covet me, I won't let you have your way. Mo Juechen clutched his chest and groaned. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. It seemed that his internal injury had acted up. There's someone on the roof. Gu Rui looked up at the roof. Mo Juechen lay down on Ningxu's bed and covered himself with the blanket. Chapter 1071. The tiles on the roof creaked softly. From the sound of it, There was more than one person. Mo Juechen was indeed being attacked. Mo Juechen burrowed under the blanket. Ningxu really wanted to shout that the devil was here. The noise on the roof disappeared after a while. Mo Juechen's face was red as he poked his head out of the blanket. Then he lifted the blanket and tidied his hair. How disgusting. This fat girl's blanket reeks of fat. Ningxu. Who the hell allowed you to sleep on it? Why are you in my room so late at night? Did I tell you to come here? Ningxu stared at Mo Juechen expressionlessly. She shouldn't have used a stick. She should have used a knife to stab him to death. Gu Rui took out a medicine bottle and poured out a pill for Mo Juechen. Take this. Mo Juechen took the pill and swallowed it. He brushed his hair and said, Do you think I want to come to your room? Those righteous sects are the most hypocritical and sanctimonious. They would never enter a woman's room, much less search it. They won't believe that I entered a fat girl's room. Ningxu was speechless. Bastard. Did you eat shit? Why are you speaking so smelly? Ningxu stared at Mo Juechen. Mo Juechen was probably trying to take revenge on Ningxu for attacking him. He wanted to attack Ningxu psychologically. His words were especially vicious. I really don't know what's the point of living like this. Ningxu rolled his eyes. My life is full of hope. I can dream every day that I'll become a goddess after I slim down. What do those ugly skinny people dream of? I'll always be young. My skin is tight when I'm fat. I won't be able to see any wrinkles. I'll always be young. Mo Juechen sneered. Why do you have so many reasons to comfort yourself when you're fat? What does it have to do with you? Did I eat your rice? Ningxu retorted. Look at how you're neither a man nor a woman. If you put on some powder, you'll be able to sell yourself at a brothel. You're an ugly woman full of jealousy. I'm better looking than you. What reason do you have to live? Mo Juechen said proudly. Jealous of my celestial beauty. Fuck. He had met his match. Shameless to the extreme. I can have children. Can you? I can make a woman give birth. Can you? Ningxu. Despicable people are invincible. So, Mo Juechen looked at Ningxu. What reason do you have to continue living? You're useless and a waste of food. All right, go and treat your injuries. Gu Rui interrupted Mo Juechen and Ningxu's argument. Mo Juechen sat on the edge of the bed and lay down on it. He propped his head up with his hand and said lazily, I'll stay here tonight. I can't guarantee that those righteous sects won't come back. Get lost. Who allowed you to be in my room? Ningxu put his hands on his waist like a teapot. Why don't we go to the brothel? If we go to the brothel, those righteous sects won't go to the brothel with great fanfare. Mo Juechen casually twirled his hair and used a wooden hairpin to hold it in place. His beauty was truly alluring. I'm injured and I'm too lazy to move. I was also ambushed by this fat girl. I can't even walk now. Mo Juechen said insincerely. You're sleeping on my bed, so where am I supposed to sleep? Ningxu stared at Mo Juechen. It seemed like he had to prepare some poison. With poison, he would deal with Mo Juechen first. Mo Juechen didn't kill him now because he still wanted something. Ningxu suspected that Mo Juechen would kill him if he got the thing. I don't care where you sleep. Mo Juechen lay down on the bed and sat up. Change the blanket and pillow. Ningxu ignored him. Not only did he occupy her room, but he also wanted to treat her like a servant. Dream on. Ningxu couldn't beat him now. Otherwise, he would have thrown Mo Juechen out. His body wasn't good, and his foundation wasn't good. Even his cultivation speed was slow. Ningxu turned and left the room. Gu Rui asked, It's so late, where are you going? I'm going to sleep with Shi Tao. You two can go do it. Ningxu closed the door. Have fun. Ningxu knocked on Shi Tao's door. When Shi Tao saw Ningxu, she rubbed her eyes and asked, Miss, are you hungry? I haven't eaten supper for a long time. Don't talk to me about food. I'll squeeze with you. I don't have anywhere to sleep. Ningxu said. In the end, Ningxu and Shi Tao squeezed together. The bed was small, so Ningxu slept on his side. When he woke up, his whole body hurt. Shi Tao didn't sleep well either. Ningxu suppressed his anger. When he returned to his room, Mo Juechen had already left. He was probably recuperating. After breakfast, Gu Rui came to look for Ning Shu. He said that he wanted to bring Ning Shu to check out the Fong family's shop. Ning Shu tidied up a little and went out with Gu Rui. They sat in a sedan. When the 4 sedan bearers lifted Ning Shu, they all snorted. Ning Shu thought to himself, "It's good that I didn't sprain my waist." The sedan chair swayed and Ning Shu almost fell asleep. Finally, the sedan chair stopped. "Miss, we're here." Shi Tao lifted the curtain. Ning Shu got out of the sedan and looked at the signboard. It was a tea shop. Gu Rui walked in first. Ning Shu looked at the tea leaves and asked the waiter to pack some of each tea. "Why are you bringing so many tea leaves back?" Gu Rui asked in surprise. "I have to try the tea leaves," Ning Shu said. "They can also help with weight loss." Gu Rui nodded. Okay. Next, they went to the medicine shop. Ning Shu asked the waiter to get some medicine. "You want to take medicine?" Gu Rui shook his head. "You can't take medicine blindly." "It's okay. I have a prescription for weight loss. I want to lose weight." Ning Shu asked the waiter. "Do as I say." Next, they went to the grain shop. Ning Shu got some rice. Gu Rui saw that Ning Shu wanted to get something every time they went to a place. He was not in the mood to take Ning Shu around. Ning Shu's figure was very eye-catching. Wherever he went, people recognized Ning Shu at a glance. The Fong family's miss was a big fat person. "I'll give you the account book. If you don't understand anything, ask me. If I'm not at home, ask the accountant," Gu Rui said when they got home. Ning Shu narrowed his eyes and asked, "Why do you want me to learn all these? I feel like you're leaving?" Gu Rui nodded. "I'm planning to leave the Fong family. I have something to do." "Where are you going?" Ning Shu asked. Could it be that he was going to complete the restoration of the country? Ning Shu said with annoyance. "Can't you not leave? You see, I can't take care of the family's affairs. What will I do if you leave?" "It's okay. Every shop has a shopkeeper. You can check the accounts every month. You don't need to worry," Gu Rui said gently. Chapter 1072. Must you leave? Where are you going? Ning Shu asked. After weighing the pros and cons, he felt that it was better for Gu Rui to leave. But did Gu Rui get what he wanted? He wanted to leave before he got what he wanted. "I'm going to travel the world." Gu Rui looked up into the distance. Gu Rui's clothes fluttered slightly, as if he was going to leave with the wind. "Ning Shu, travel the world? You must be kidding me. You don't have to worry. I'll inform the salesperson before I leave. You just have to check the accounts every month," Gu Rui said. If he really didn't care about anything, who knew what his subordinates would be like? They would stuff their own pockets. They would even bully a chubby and cute girl like him. Gu Rui saw that Ning Shu didn't know how to speak, so he said, "If you're really worried about your subordinates, you can find a man to help you manage the Fong family business." Ning Shu. Damn, 2 out of the 3 husband candidates had left. The last one was Mo Juechen. It was as good as none. "Rather than traveling the world, I might as well stay in the Fong family," Ning Shu said. "I don't know anything about the Fong family business now." "Then I'll wait for you to familiarize yourself with the Fong family business before I leave," Gu Rui said. Ning Shu nodded and carried the herbs back to his room. "Miss, what will you do if young Master Gu leaves?" Shi Tao asked worriedly. Ning Shu processed his herbs and said lightly, "I'll do what I have to do." Did Gu Rui find something? He had been in the Fong family for so long. How could he leave without achieving his goal? Ning Shu felt that Gu Rui was testing him. "Miss, if Gu Rui leaves, the Fong family won't have a man to support the family. You won't be able to hold on," Shi Tao said worriedly. "Miss, why don't you marry young Master Gu? Old Master said that you can marry whoever you like." Shi Tao gave Ning Shu an idea. "We'll see," Ning Shu said indifferently. His hands were busy making poisons. It had been a long time since he last made one, so he was out of practice. "Miss, why aren't you worried at all?" Shi Tao was anxious to death. "I already have a plan in mind." "Stop arguing," Ning Shu said. Shi Tao heaved a long sigh. "It's good that Miss has a way." Ning Shu stored the poison powder in a bottle and placed it in his pouch. If Mo Juchen barged into his room in the middle of the night, he would let him have a taste of the poison. Just as Ning Shu was about to teach Mo Juchen a lesson, Mo Juchen jumped into the room through the window. Ning Shu rolled his eyes. There was a good door. Why did he jump out of the window? How vulgar. Ning Shu's fat hand touched his waist. He wanted to see if his poison concocting skills had deteriorated. Fat chick handed over. Mo Juechen stretched out a slender hand towards Ning Shu. This hand was not bad. He could play with it for a year. What is it? Why do you keep asking me for things? Do you have to let me know what it is? Ning Shu also wanted to know what it was. What was it that made Gu Rue and Mo Juechen so obsessed? Stop acting dumb, fat chick. Do you believe that I won't let you live a life worse than death? Didn't you want to slim down? I promise I'll make you slim down. Mo Juechen looked at Ning Shu. Fuck, I really don't know what it is. Ning Shu roared. You really don't know? Mo Juechen frowned and muttered to himself. Where did that damned old man put it? What should I know? Ning Shu rolled his eyes. I don't know anything. You should ask Gu Rue. Oh right, Gu Rue is leaving the Fong family. You can ask him if you have anything. Gu Rue is leaving. Mo Juechen raised his brows in surprise. He left like a gust of wind. Not long after, Mo Juechen returned like a gust of wind. He stared at Ning Shu and said, Fat chick, how dare you trick me? What trick? Gu Rue won't leave? Ning Shu stared at Mo Juechen's face. He really wanted to see what it would look like if he sprinkled some powder on it. Just thinking about it made him excited. You'd better hand it over. I don't believe that your father didn't give it to you. Mo Juechen tilted his head and looked at Ning Shu. This action made Mo Juechen feel a little innocent. Be good and hand it over. Ning Shu vomited blood. What the hell was that thing? Fuck, you have to let me know what it is. Ning Shu flipped the table. Mo Juechen looked at the flipped table and glanced at Ning Shu. Are you crazy? Your father really didn't give you anything. No. You really don't know what it is? I don't know. What use do you have? My father dotes on me. I don't have to worry about anything. You're in so much pain that you're an idiot. Mo Juechen, take this. Idiot. Ning Shu ran towards Mo Juechen. Mo Juechen nimbly dodged. Don't underestimate me. I'm an agile fatty. Ning Shu sprinkled a handful of powder on Mo Juechen's face. Then, he covered his handkerchief and retreated. Mo Juechen hurriedly wiped the powder off his face. It disappeared like a gust of wind. Ning Shu laughed with his hands on his hips. He was feeling very good. I'll let you grow some beautiful pimples. During dinner, Ning Shu saw that Mo Juechen's jade-like skin was a little red. There were even some small pimples on some parts of his face. He was feeling good inside, but his expression did not change. Mo Juechen scratched his face from time to time. Ning Shu ate seriously. Pa. Mo Juechen suddenly stood up and slammed his hand on the table. Ning Shu was startled and choked. Cough, cough, cough. Ning Shu hammered his chest and swallowed the food in his throat with difficulty. What are you doing? Are you crazy? Ning Shu said unhappily. Mo Juechen pointed at his face. Stupid fatty. How dare you touch my face? Your face is yours. When did I touch your face? Ning Shu rolled his eyes and retorted. You poisoned my face. Mo Juechen gritted his teeth. He was so agitated that blood rushed to his head. Mo Juechen felt his face itch even more. Hand over the antidote. Mo Juechen's eyes were dangerous. Don't provoke me. Ning Shu hurriedly shook his head and said innocently, I didn't poison you. I was planning to make a facial cream. How could it be poisonous? Your skin must be too weak. Stupid fatty. Gu Rue's expression was very helpless. All right, I'll take your pulse later to see if you've been poisoned. Ning Shu looked at Gu Rue in surprise. You know medicine too? I know a little bit about it. Gu Rue said casually. Gu Rue was really multi-talented. He knew how to do business, medicine, and what else? Ning Shu felt that Gu Rue definitely knew how to be a ruler. It was impossible to learn so many things without a purpose. Chapter 1073. After dinner, Gu Rui took Mo Juechen's pulse. The two of them sat together, and it was pleasing to the eye. Ning Shu moved his chubby body over to break the painting. With Ning Shu in the same frame, the painting changed immediately. How is it? Can Mo Juechen's face be preserved? It would be a pity if he can't. Ning Shu shook his head regretfully as he asked Gu Rui. Gu Rui glanced at Ning Shu and retracted his hand. He'll be fine after taking some medicine. The powder you used to make the facial cream is poisonous. Ning Shu quickly shook his head. That's impossible. I have a prescription. Besides, sores are actually detoxifying. Shut up, fat girl. If you dare say another word, I'll make sure you die a horrible death. Mo Juechen looked at Ning Shu. Don't think that I don't dare to kill you. Let's see who kills who. Ning Shu pursed his lips and turned to leave. Lan Exine, wait. Gu Rui called out to Ning Shu. Ning Shu looked back and smiled, the fat on his face trembling. What's the matter? Nothing. Gu Rui waved his hand. It's cold. Cover yourself with a blanket when you sleep. Ning Shu nodded, the fat on his face moving like waves. You too. Cover yourself with a blanket. Ning Shu looked at Mo Juechen. I didn't expect it to be a poisonous mask. Thank you for testing the poison. Mo Juechen looked at Ning Shu with a dangerous gaze. Ning Shu skipped away. The flesh on her body was so pure that it started to jiggle unpretentiously. Mo Juechen rolled his eyes and said to Gu Rui, why don't you just ask the fat girl for the mask? Are you her godfather or her daughter? Can't you go overboard? Gu Rui said. Mo Juechen rolled his eyes. You don't seem like someone who would be so protective of women. Besides, a fat girl is neither fragrant nor jade. How long are you going to stay here? Mo Juechen scratched his face as he said, if I don't teach her a lesson, she won't know what's good for her. Don't tell me you're going to marry that girl? Mo Juechen raised his eyebrows as he looked at Gu Rui. Gu Rui said indifferently, you don't want your face anymore. It doesn't matter. There are plenty of godly doctors in the pugilistic world. Mo Juechen shrugged. Gu Rui stood up and left. Hey, give me the antidote first. Ning Shu returned to the room and said, Shitao, you should go and eat too. Then go and rest. Yes, Mississippi, call me if you need anything. Once Shitao left, Ning Shu began to concoct the poison. The poison he had used on Mo Juechen was just an appetizer. The next time that fellow provoked her again, he would let him experience the pain of being bitten by 10,000 insects. Ning Shu expressed his displeasure at being called fat girl all day long. Tomorrow, she would call him ugly. Ning Shu put the successfully made medicinal powder into the bottle, put the cork in the bottle, and then put it in the pouch. There were already a few bottles in the pouch. Ning Shu rubbed his eyes. It was already late. Ning Shu lay on the table and kept thinking. What exactly did old Master Mo leave behind? Where would this item be placed? Ning Shu picked up the white candle on the table and placed it in the lantern. He carried the lantern out of the room and planned to take a look at the ancestral hall. He wanted to see if old Master Mo had placed the item there. The winter night was especially cold. The surroundings were pitch black and there was no one outside. The cold wind whistled, causing the lantern to sway. Ning Shu gathered his furry cloak and walked lightly towards the ancestral hall. With a creak, Ning Shu gently pushed open the door of the ancestral hall. The room was pitch black. He didn't know if it was because the ancestral tablets were placed in the room, but it felt very eerie. Ning Shu entered the room and closed the door. He took out a torch and lit the candle on the table. Ning Shu looked at the rows of tablets. There was one that was relatively new. It was old Master Mo's tablet. Ning Shu patted his chest, feeling a little sad. Putting down the lantern, Ning Shu bowed. Ancestor, please don't blame me. Please don't blame me. Ning Shu started to feel around the tablets. He moved each tablet once and touched the table to see if there were any traps. He even poured out the ashes from the incense burner. But he didn't find anything special. Ning Shu jumped up onto the roof beam. Ning Shu searched all the places that could hide things, but he didn't find anything. Ning Shu couldn't help but feel a little discouraged. Where did old Master Missouri place the item? This place had probably been searched by Gu Rui and Mo Juechen. How could she find anything? Ningshu was so tired that he was panting. He sat on the roof beam and panted. This was the bad thing about being fat. It was too much of a burden on the heart. Just a little vigorous exercise would cause the heart to beat wildly. It required a long period of exercise. Ningshu was covered in dust and felt a little itchy. He prepared to go back. Ningshu couldn't help but roll his eyes. He felt that his life was so miserable. He had been cheated by 2333. But just as Ningshu was rolling his eyes, he saw a different tile above his head. It was emitting a faint light. Ningshu stood up and took out the tile. This tile was an ordinary glazed tile. And it was very small. It was almost hidden by the other tiles. If it wasn't for the light, Ningshu wouldn't have noticed it. Ningshu jumped down from the roof beam with the tile. He sat on the futon and held the candle close to the tile. Through the light, Ningshu saw that there was a shadow in the tile. Ningshu stretched out her foot and crushed the tile. Inside the tile, there was a piece of leather. The leather was very thin, and it felt very smooth to the touch. It was a little like human skin. Ningshu opened it. It was a very abstract drawing of mountains and rivers. It looked a little like a road map. Other than that, there was no word on it. Ningshu used his hand to wipe the lines on the leather. It couldn't be erased. Treasure map? TSK this plot. So this was what Emojuechen and Gurue wanted? Ningshu stuffed the leather into his arms and put the ashes back into the incense burner. He tried his best to restore the item. He picked up the broken tiles on the ground and left the ancestral hall with the lantern. After leaving the ancestral hall, Ningshu threw the broken tiles into the fish pond. Ningshu went back to his room and let out a long breath. He patted the dust off his body and took out the map. Ningshu rolled his eyes. If he wanted to make a map, he should make it more detailed. If he met someone with a low IQ, they wouldn't even know what the map was. Ningshu folded the map and put it in his wallet. This leather was really mysterious. It didn't have any smell and was so thin. It was as thin as a cicada's wing. When it was folded, it was still very thin. What kind of leather was this? Ningshu moved his neck. His body was a little itchy. Ningshu went to the kitchen to boil water for a bath. It wasn't normal to take a bath in the middle of the night. Ningshu didn't want to arouse suspicion. He also made himself something to eat. After boiling a pot of water, Ningshu took a bath and ate something. Then he sat cross-legged on his bed to cultivate. Ningshu was sure that this was what Emojuechen wanted. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.